Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi out here, and the Raptors lost to the shorthanded Orlando Magic last night at Scotiabank Arena. I know it's disappointing. In some ways, the game, they didn't come out very well, and they got jumped on all over by a bunch of three-point shooting. The Magic breaking records for the three-point shooting last night as a franchise, even, which is too bad. I mean, there really was a poor effort to try and guard the three-point shot in the beginning of the game by our Raptors. And it's too bad. It's really too bad because honestly, we built some really good momentum from the Brooklyn game and it didn't carry over to the next game. And our guys, were not trying as hard as they should have. And well, we took an L. And this season's been taking a lot of L's. I mean, I in some ways I'm not upset about them losing last night because I'm just like, well, this is this season. It is what it is. At least we broke up the losing streak. And well, they had another lesson about playing in a game against a team that may be shorthanded. Doesn't mean you need to take them lightly. And you really got to be on top of them. The three-point shooting was absolutely killing us. Absolutely killing us. What do we do when their guys are making their threes, all of them, and shooting like 60% from three-point range? And meanwhile, our two most important three-point shooters are like for the game, they shot overall, all shots, 6 for 28. 6 for 28 between Emmanuel and Grady shooting wise. They just shot really bad. Our guys shot bad. Their guys shot really good. Early in the game, I was like, well, they won't sustain this good three-point shooting the whole game. They shouldn't. We should adjust. We should start guarding them at the three-point line and catch up at some point. But the thing was, in different phases during the game, different veteran players for the Magic stepped up and carried them. I hate to say this, but this is part of why I don't want Bruce Brown on our team because he was only 2 points yesterday. And in some ways, his counterparts, people like Cole Anthony, Corey Joseph, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope were the huge reasons why the Magic won yesterday. Other than the rookie that was the best player on the court also. Scotty failed to be the dominant best player with the best stats on the court yesterday. And a kid from Brazil named Da Silva was the best player on the court yesterday. That's how you lose right there. You let a rookie from Brazil be the man on the court, and none of y'all step up and become the man. And that's a problem, Scotty and Emmanuel, when you let that kid outplay you in his first year, and he does more kind of superstar stuff to carry his team to win. Then you add in veteran savvy in smart places by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a very, very gifted scorer. In some ways, just like D'Angelo Russell in the game before, a dude that's just going to carry and score points for their team, and he's very crafty in it. And he did a lot of that in the middle of the game. Near the end of the game, Cole Anthony took the relay stick and helped close the game out with some huge shots late to keep some daggers, keeping them ahead. And like I said, Corey Joseph returned to Toronto last night, an enemy, and well, he kicked our butt in some ways on the down low, even though he's looking bigger. Like he's a bigger guy right now. I guess he's just at a stage in his career where, well, his body type is a little different than it used to be when he used to play for us. So, yeah, I really blame those three veterans and then the really prolific three-point shooting and then the Raptors not adjusting and doing things correctly at any point to make up for it. IQ was kind of night and day with his first game. I mean, he was high volume. He shot a lot, but he missed a lot. He missed a lot in this game. And, he was getting people involved. He was good to a certain level, but the whole measure of the team was not enough to overcome the Magic. Why? Why? Y'all are supposed to be a more talented team. You had the home court advantage. They didn't have most of their important players. Banchero, Wagner. And then Suggs went out in the middle of the game, and everybody's like, wow, they really don't have any of their players. Well, Da Silva was enough, I guess, with those vets. Another thing we got to remember about what's going on in this season is we've had a really hard time having continuity as far as with our lineup. And a lot of the teams we're playing have had time to be playing with their units together and getting things organized. And there's a little bit of that in the game last night. I mean, obviously, with Orlando missing such key players, they're not exactly the unit, but they've been used to playing without Paulo for a little while now. And Franz a little bit more recently. They've adjusted, and Jamal Mosley is a very good coach. He's done a good job improving the Magic over the years. It's bullshit though. We should have won. We should have won. We should have won. But it's this season. And in some ways, winning or not winning is not something that I'm going to get bent out of shape like I would in a normal season where we should be more competitive and there are higher expectations. Because, I mean, there are expectations from yesterday, don't get me wrong, but the whole body of the work for this 2024-2025 season, in some ways, if they lose a game like they did last night, I'm not totally bent out of shape. In fact, they closed the gap by the end of the game and made it look better. Even though it really was kind of a rout in the middle of the game, down by 20, and just kind of like, what the hell, man? Seriously, Raptors, why? Why can't we get things going the right way? We're healthy. As Jack was saying on the broadcast, we don't really have the excuse of missing players for this one. RJ, sure. That's one player, though. RJ doesn't fit the balance with if you weigh it all out with, Benchero and Franz Wagner and Mo Wagner, you know, and then Jalen Suggs on top of that. Anyway, it is what it is. We get another chance to play on Monday against the Milwaukee Bucks in an Indigenous Heritage Night at the Scotiabank Arena. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm going to do the stars of the game. On better news, the other team, the G League team, got their W against Malachi Flynn and the Austin Spurs in a very lively game. Jonathan Mobo having an impact, probably one of the best games by Ulrich Shamshe yesterday, doing some good stuff too. So I'll have the stars of the game for that game, the stars of the game for the Orlando game, the classic card, the Instagram stories, and I'll do a scout of the day. So if somebody gives me a scout, I'll do a scout today. So y'all give me a name if you want me to. You get in there first in the chat with the name, and I'll do the scout. The first come, first serve is how it works there. All right, let's see what's up with what you're saying. Just a little overview before. And like I said, I don't want to go all overreactive like most of Raptors Nation does on everything. And just kind of go with the flow and say, look, the Raptors didn't deserve to win last night because they didn't play correctly in defensive effort guarding the three-point line. And that's pretty much what Darko said last night after the game. That very, very poor effort by the team on defense guarding the three-point line. And that was a problem. That was a big problem. Trevor J's here. Commissioner J, good morning. Worrying is a waste of time. It doesn't change anything. It messes with your mind and steals your happiness. I've often described worrying as putting bad stuff on front and taking it early. Like, you don't need to take that stuff. You don't need that stuff. Worrying is sometimes unnecessary because what you worry about is something that never, ever actually happens. So there's a lot of different ways to look at worrying. I've called it misery on layaway. Like, why do you want to go ahead and get it now when you may not even have to have it happen, is what I kind of tell people. You can worry about something, be proactive and preemptive to avoid a bad thing happening, sure. But don't ruminate on it. Like, really get where you're obsessing about it and you're frozen, you don't do anything about it, you're screwed. So if there is something that you are worried about and it is worrying about you and you have the power to do something about it ahead of time, do something about it and empower yourself. And then the worry will fade away. That's usually the case. So yeah, if you have worry is a survival instinct that could kick on to tell you, yeah, you need to be worrying about this. And hopefully you take care of it, because we're just worrying away. Yeah, stress will kill you. It will kill you. And worrying is a form of stress. And, I get it. If something awful happens and you're reeling from it and you have to worry about things because of it afterwards, I get it. That's something you can't avoid necessarily. But if it is something you're worrying about and you can do something about it, do it. That's what I say right there. Good morning to superfan Monique Lawrence of the Raptors. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Amazing game for 905. Wow. Raptors learning how to win. That's what Jalen Suggs gets for laughing at Jaden Ivey. I'm glad Raptors made it a game at times, but wasn't always pretty. Yeah, really disappointing starts to the first and after halftime. You know, they had it in a manageable margin at different times, and then the Magic would blow it open off of great veteran play from people like Cole Anthony. Like I said, Contavious Caldwell Pope, very much in tune with Jamal Mosley and doing an extension of his wishes on the court in different ways. And you can see Contavious kind of playing with some of the younger Raptors in certain ways. Like the dude is a very, very, very veteran guy who has a lot of know-how and knows how to get open and knows how to make, offense happen for his team. And yeah, it's like I know that they're not the same level of player, and even on that Denver Nuggets championship team, Kentavious was way more important than Bruce Brown. But it's easy for me to make that kind of comparison between the two players, even though Bruce has not has been in the league as long as KCP. Is that I want Bruce to do stuff like KCP did last night. Like seriously, Bruce, why can't you do this shit that Kentavious did last night for the Raptors? Like, seriously, bro. You've been in this league how long? We waited so long for you to get healthy. You're supposed to be fully healthy. And you only going to get us 2 points last night? Like, what the hell, Bruce Brown? We've been waiting for you, guy. And this is all we're going to get in the end from you? Man, that's sad. You should have been doing better like your former Nuggets champion teammate, Pope, on the other side. It's like that's what I expect from you. You're a mid-level guy as far as experience, and you have a championship ring experience. And in some ways, I'd like to see you do things more like KCP. Is what I'm saying right now, Bruce. Why can't you be a steady force in times when we're in bad shape and you get some points or something? Because you're undersized. I saw you trying to do stuff. You go in the lane and you fail because in some ways you're met with a tall defender and you can't shoot over them. And it's like, well, okay, that's useless. Why is he on the team? Oh, this is what he does for like defense. He's like this. Well, we got other guys that do it better. Davion Mitchell does it better. Jamal Shedd's a rookie, and he in some ways does things better in some ways. I don't know. He can be a little bit of a shit disturber, Bruce Brown, on defense and get the ball deflected or moving around in certain ways. That's helpful. But yeah, I don't know. I should do the stars of the game. Monique has brought up the 905 game, so maybe I should talk about that more right now. So much great things are happening for me at the game. Can't wait to share when I can. There you go. Most wheeling and dealing, mover and shaker, having things going on down there in her own life with her own career and her own things that she's doing. That's fantastic. That's music to my ears. I'm always happy to hear Monique branch out, make new friends, make new connections, and have new things on the horizon coming towards her. That is fantastic, Mo. I can't wait. I want to know what's going on. That's right. Trevor J saying Bruce Brown had a day of rest. Come back and score 2 points. What's up with that? He has to go. Please get him out. Yeah, I'm echoing what you're saying already, Trevor. I mean, what is this? The guy can't play it on back-to-back. I get that. You know what? We won the game you sat. You come back, we lose. I mean, seriously, why are we wasting rotational minutes on this guy? I understand maybe we need to showcase him for a trade, but man, I'm just like, I'd rather have, somebody else coming in there, a youngster, getting those minutes and learning from it. Because in some ways, it's like, what's the future with Bruce? Seriously, he is not a kind of player that we need in this ensemble right now to help us. As much as he's been a professional, as much as he's been fun with his cowboy style, what is he going to give to us that's going to add to getting us to Larry O'Brien right now in our current state? It's not now. He's a piece that needs to go to a team that just needs a couple more pieces than they get the Larry O'Brien. And we're not anywhere near that right now. We're still so young with our development and our young years with people like Grady and Jacoby and Scotty that Bruce Brown needs to go because his timeline is really off from our timeline. I would say that more than anybody on this team. You're talking about timelines and what fits and what doesn't. Bruce Brown's timeline has nothing to do with the Raptors' timeline. And that's just the damn truth. And I don't even know, like, I don't even know like which team he should go to or what should happen. But I think that something should happen before February, very, very soon. Because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. Kareem Thomas is here, our dunk champion. Days like yesterday, you try and point the blame at someone and make them accountable. Today, I will say the coaching staff is to blame. Raptors did not look prepared. Meanwhile, Orlando kept fighting. You know, hmm. I mean, in some ways, there should have been an adjustment to guard the three better faster. I mean, we did see Darko do something different last night that he had never done before, and that was let them play through problems. He said after the game the reason why was because he was running out of timeouts, and that he didn't have a timeout to call in that one period where the announcers were saying, "Darko's not calling a timeout. He's letting them figure it out on the game," and he did do that. There was a little bit of figuring out in the middle there. The thing that happened in that game was we evolved to getting Jakob the ball better by the end of the game and really started really feeding Jakob in the second half late, where he got to 25 points all of a sudden. In fact, he was my star of the game. Jakob Pertl in the loss, 11 of 12. He only missed one shot. And his shots were so interesting because it really was getting played to from Emmanuel and Scotty and found and just he's making those little push shots. And some of them weren't exactly close to the basket. And, those are the same kind of shots that Emmanuel's trying to take when he gets near the basket. Those little 5-foot shots from the rim, kind of like just little push shots. And, Jakob's making them with people around him. It's very impressive. So 11 to 12, I like that. He made all three of his free throws, which with Jak is an accomplishment. 6 rebounds. I mean, they could have rebounded way better. I said this as a key of the game yesterday morning that they need to win the rebounding battle to win this game, and they did not. They did not win the rebounding battle. That Bezetta, whatever Bitsetta or whatever they called him. He played really good last night. He got a double-double, and in some ways, I was saying he can't outplay Jakob. In some ways, that was part of the problem. He was out hustling Jakob in certain ways with 11 points and 13 rebounds, 7 assists for Goga Zatsa also. Yeah, Jakob kind of outplayed Goga, but kind of didn't. I mean, he outscored him. He got more points for us than him, but he didn't get more rebounds than him. And that, in some ways, Goga was more active and the more kind of winning center in some ways, sadly. Yak got 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 3 turnovers, a -10, 25 points, but he's my star of the game because he's the leading scorer for the Raptors, which is weird, first of all, because in some ways, when Yak is the leading scorer, that means our other guys are not shooting well, and we're leaning on our big center to carry our offense too much. I know some of y'all are like, we need to play Yak like that and over again. But honestly, when Yak gets like 30-point scoring games or 20 something like this, 25-point games, that means the other guys like Grady and Emmanuel are not shooting well. And we're needing to lean on him to carry our offense. And that should be like a very last resort kind of thing. And showing that we're actually struggling is what that is. So the second star of the game in this game to me is Abaji. Abaji, man, he is just such a fantastic player in some ways. Like, I really enjoying Abaji as far as his aggressiveness to attack the rim and convert baskets with defenders around him. And then, like, his spot up 3-point shooting is really good right now. He's been on and off at different times during the season. He was really on early. He went through a kind of a dry spell, but he's back on again right now. And the way I know it is that he's taking impromptu threes in the game last night and nailing them. It's just, in some ways, the whole thing with Abaji is to bounce the ball to him in a rhythm so that he can catch it in a rhythm, and boom, he'll hit that shot in a rhythm. And he's a really good 3-point shooter. Like, his 3-point shooting has improved so much since he got traded to us from Utah. Last season, his 3-point shot was non-existent and not considered a steady thing that we could rely on. This year it is. This year it is 6 for 9 for Abaji, 3 of 5 from three, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 15 points in 33 minutes. Part of it is the points per game. Once again, really dismal for a lot of the Raptors. We got no bench scoring, and the Magic really cleaned up off the bench. They had some players that absolutely scored a ton of points for them. They got, let's see, 20, 30, 43 bench points. And the Raptors scored 18 bench points. And that was a huge, huge problem. I know some of it is that the bench didn't get as much minutes, but part of it is also that bench is just not getting involved. Now, would Chris Boucher being one of the 5 bench guys coming in have helped because he DMP'd last night? Possibly. Maybe Chris could have gotten the game and scored more points. I'm looking at the guys who played, the 5 that did, and none of them got double digits. Kelly got the most off the bench with 6 points. And that's just not good enough. That's why I'm talking to Bruce Brown, Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter, that they need to score more. Jacoby, you're coming around really good as a rookie. We're going to need you to get double digits off the bench regularly, Jacoby. It's very, very necessary. Jamal, you're going to have to make more than 2 points. I'm sorry. It was a really nice little layup at a very crucial time where he changed speeds, got past Orlando, and made a nice layup. We're going to need more than just that, Jamal Shed. I'm sorry, man. We just need some bench scoring. My third star of the game in the Orlando loss last night is Scotty Barnes. Scotty failed to be the superstar on the court last night, the number one guy. He was close. He was trying. There was a period of time where he was very aggressive and he was shooting a lot himself, calling his own number, and it was fantastic. He had certain levels of success, but not total. And there was failure overall in the end. But once again, we're seeing a new thing from him in the last 5 games consistently, where he is trying to be the man, carry us, and put some scoring down. Like, I wish in the second half last night that Scotty could have turned it on a little bit more, been a little bit more accurate, a little bit more converting the shots, and made up the score. Like, seriously, that's the stuff that legends and great superstars of the past have done. Vince Carter for the Raptors in the early 2000s, if the Raptors were down by 12, well, Vince would try and cover those 12 up by himself, Scott. He would carry and eat up the lead. In some ways, that's what you need to be thinking about while you're out there, along with your aggressive turnaround shots and fadeaways that you're doing right now, where you're backing people down. I saw you take it to Corey Joseph. I saw you take it to your friend Caleb Houston. Yeah, that's fun. That's what you should be doing, because you can make those shots and you can carry us. And in some ways, you should look at the score and say, the Raptors are down. I'm going to carry them to get the lead and take over once again. That's the next stage of your evolution, Scott. You understand you can do this now. You're doing this more. You're not doing it successfully yet, but you're at least trying. And the more you practice trying to do it, the more you're going to be successful in the years to come. And that's what Raptors fans have to realize right now. Scotty is not a failure forever. He may be a failure on one night and not being able to carry his team or lead his team to victory. But not every night is going to be like that in the future. He's going to learn. He's going to get better. He's going to understand it better. And you know what? He's going to do it at some point. And you're going to remember Raptors Freak told you that. He is absolutely the kind of guy who can change a game and take over for a section of the game and make his team win. He's just got to harness the powers, understand them better, and utilize them in a very intelligent way to win the game. And Scotty, you're close. 9 and 19. It's not horrible shooting. He missed more than he made, though. It's not as good as 14 for 18. That's for sure. Yeah, 2 for 4 from 3. So he did make some very confident 3-point shots. Very, very nice shots. He missed both his free throws. He was a little rattled at that point. There had been some physicality in the game. He's a little upset with the referees. There was that crazy point in the game where he was screaming as he ran through the lane while Jalen Suggs was mugging him. and the refs didn't call anything, but he made the shot at least. So Scotty's being vocal. He's letting it be known there's contact. That's for sure. 9 rebounds for Scott, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, -3 with 20 points. Yeah, see, Scott, you got 20 points. De Silva got 25. And when the other guy's leading scorer outscores you, you've lost the game because they have more points than you. It could be that simple, Scott. You got to keep track of at least the top scorer for the other team and beat them every night if you can. If you can. If you can't do it, then RJ better be doing it or Emmanuel. But yeah, that's something right there. Those are my 3 stars: Yaka Pirtle, Obaji, and Barnes. My 3 stars of the game for the Raptors game last night. It is what it is. It is what it is. In some ways, yeah. I mean, all right, Kareem, you want me to blame the Raptors coaches a little bit for yesterday? All right, I will. I will. But I don't even know if it's, what do you get mad at them for? The fact that they didn't maybe encourage them to guard harder? Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying, where you're saying they were more prepared than we were. I won't say this. I was at the game for Brooklyn. I wasn't at the game last night. I feel like if I came to the game last night and did the same thing I did on New Year's Day, they would have done better on defense. That's why I'm telling Raptors fans, if you come to the arena, don't shut up. In some ways, at one point, Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong said that the crowd has made things a little tough in here because they've been taking the air out of them. I hate that. Y'all need to be defiant. Who cares if we win or lose? We have a Raptors team that we cheer for in Toronto that we have in the NBA. That is a fantastic thing to be grateful for. So blindly go to the games and just cheer defense with no regard of the scoreboard. Because seriously, I've been in that arena when y'all suck the life out of it and make it even more unconfident. It sucks. And that's why, even if the Raptors are losing by 20, I never lose confidence. I cheer for them the same way. And this is where the evolution of the Raptors crowd can get to the next level, is that we don't give a fuck. Seriously, stop giving a fuck, Raptors fans, and only saving your energy if they deserve it because they're winning. That's often the mentality of the crowd at times. Is like, I'm not going to cheer or make any noise unless they're winning. Well, they need you more when they're not winning, you idiot, is what I'll say. And seriously, why can't we let a Orlando Magic team like that come in and suck the life out of our crowd? Y'all should be defiant. Do the Orlando Magic control your brain to tell you to shut up and not because they're winning? Well, you suck if you let them control you like that. Pathetic losers. No wonder. No, I'm not happy with the crowd. I'm telling you, unwaveringly. You do that defensive chant right from the start. It doesn't matter what the score is, whether we're up by 20 or down by 20, you do it. Because if we just do it consistently, we take the power away from the other team to suck the life out of our building. So, yeah, I'm mad at the crowd. Friday night crowd, you sucked last night. You weren't there with the energy and the noise for our team unwaveringly, no matter what was going on with the score at the time and what's going on there. When I'm down there, I can take care of it myself. Seriously. None of y'all need to be saying nothing. I'll be the only one in there yelling defense from the jump ball right up until the final buzzer. But if more people were like me, this would help things. Seriously. So seriously, Raptor freaks, seriously, Raptors fans that love this team and want to see them win, let's do our part. Because as much as Kareem's saying the coaches didn't prepare them right, that may be true. As much as they're saying the Raptors didn't guard the three-point line right or do things correctly in defense to stop the Orlando Magic, the fans didn't do their part either because they didn't show up and get loud for just because they're supposed to. It doesn't matter what's going on in the game. And the Raptors, in some ways, they don't deserve my cheering. Well, what kind of a fan are you? Come on, man. If we're going to help them get it out of the mud, we need to help them while they're losing to get the energy up in the building. And the crowd let them down. They let them down last night. Too late to get energized and give energy to our players. That's what I was doing on New Year's Day. I go down there and I give energy to the court with my voice, with my cheering. And, Raptors fans, we need to do better. We need to do better. Last night was a game where the crowd could have energized our team better. Seriously. I could see it on TV. And I hate hearing Jack Armstrong saying, the Magic have managed to take the crowd out of the game. You should never be out of the game because you're letting the Magic do that to you. It's your choice whether you want to be defiant of that or not. And I am every single time. I don't give a crap. People look at me like I'm crazy. You know what? You're the crazy ones because y'all paid all this money to sit in this arena and watch them lose, and you didn't do nothing to help them. Yeah, a little bit of a rant for the crowd and the fans, and the people like us. Do better. Seriously, do better, man. Do better. Bryce is here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Bryce Lawson. Hold it down, the K-Tuck. That's right. Bryce, I love you, man. Good to see you. Happy New Year's. Rich Porco is here. Good morning to Rich. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the subscription. I'm here every morning talking Raptors every day for at least 2 hours. Where do you find the passion from to talk about a dumpster fire team every day? You know what? It's tough. I mean, I've had this passion for the Raptors since the mid-90s. This has been a day one, 30-year thing. The forum of YouTube has allowed me to this audience, which I appreciate. It's amazing and fantastic. It's tough, man. You get up every day. It's just part of my routine. And, part of it is, Rich, that I want to keep Raptors fans informed in different ways so that they can weather the dumpster fire in the best ways that they can. Because, it's not an easy time. And, in some ways, when things are tough like this, it's confusing. It can be very toxic. It could be a lot of people saying a lot of crazy shit that's just unnecessary, honestly. And, well, I'm trying to be a positive leader in Raptors Fan Nation to make things a little bit easier through the tough times of a rebuild. And that's pretty much it right there. Rich, thanks for the subscription. It's an interesting question. And it's fair. It's a fair question right now. Yeah. Where do I find the passion? I just love this team. I love basketball and I love my city. I love the city of Toronto. And when the NBA granted an NBA franchise to John Batove and his group in the mid-90s, it just became my favorite team immediately because my favorite sport was the NBA. I loved the NBA. I was never, ever an NHL guy. I was never really a hockey person. And I'm from Toronto. I've always loved my city, and I love Toronto. So it was a marriage made in heaven. It's like my favorite city, my favorite sport, my favorite league. Well, that's my favorite team, Toronto Raptors. It was written in the stars. There was no other way it was going to be. And it was day one, right away from Ed Pickney getting that jump ball against the New Jersey Nets in 1995. Yeah, just like that, Rich. Good to see you, Rich. I hope you have more questions for me. That'd be awesome. Bryce is saying after Suggs went down and Scotty has that little boost of energy, I was sure we'd come back. Boy, was I sadly mistaken. It's okay. Let's go Raptors. Yeah, I mean, there's lessons here, guys. In some ways, once again, I've used the escalator analogy where teams are on an escalator at the mall and everybody's on different steps and getting to the next level up to the top where Larry O'Brien is. And Orlando has had their lumps in the last couple of years. They've had some losing seasons, and they've grown into a playoff team last year. We're at the bottom of the escalator more than anybody above us in the Eastern Conference, other than maybe the Wizards right now. Maybe we're on the same step as the Hornets. Maybe we're on the same step as the Nets. But most of the Eastern Conference teams are above us in the escalator towards the championship because of where they are in their rebuilds, a little bit more ahead. And that's really a big part of it right there. As far as the Raptors not understanding how to win once again. It's like Fred, I always talk about Fred VanVleet having the treasure map, just like on the Goonies, to find the treasure to win at the end of games because he knew how to win games. He knew how to close games out and make you win. Emmanuel showed a little bit of that in the Brooklyn game. He absolutely changed the pace of the game in the fourth quarter and busted the game open. So the Raptors had a good lead and cruised to victory against the Nets on New Year's Day. Now, yesterday, we were playing from behind from the start, which is no fun. In some ways, to really win for sure, like we did on New Year's, we had to jump on teams and get the lead early and kind of play from up top instead of being underneath. Well, we were underneath, and we let that underneath grow at times to big margin and just didn't have enough to overcome it all. And once again, I'll say, give credit to veterans on the Magic team for shutting the door and holding us out, like Cole Anthony, and hitting very key threes late. So that's a lot of it right there. The Raptors have to understand to win NBA games, it's difficult, and you have to do a lot right for most of the 48 minutes, and you can't have a screwed up 5-minute period in the first quarter that truly screws you up and sets you on a wrong path for the whole game. That's part of it. That's part of it right there. Lessons in winning in the NBA is hard, and you cannot screw around and mess around, even with the team that looks like they're weakened because they have their star players out. Yeah, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Bryce is saying, Rich, Lex is simply the GROAT. I appreciate that, Bryce. I mean, I think that I'm just somebody who is weird, like with foibles, as far as like I like doing a routine. And well, this is just part of my routine at this point for 3 years now, 3 years straight, doing a stream every single day on the Raptors and not taking a day off in the off season either. 365 days a year, 9:30 a.m., 3 years straight. It'll be 3.5 years coming up soon. Yeah, 3.5 years. Crazy. It'll be that in March. That's right. Yeah. Boss Take is back. Let's see what Boss Take's saying this morning. Okay, jumped ahead. Let me make sure I get all the comments today. I like to see a variety of different names in here. They why they closed the gap twice but cannot finish. Grady layup was not even close. Grady looked really off last night. It sucked. You know, Manuel boosted him the last game where he really made him shoot so much better. And, you know, Grady's shooting percentage is something to really watch night in, night out. Some nights he is a very bad shooter and he shoots a very poor percentage. Some nights he's on and he makes a lot of shots. You know, that's just the life of a jump shooter. Well, why did Grady shoot so bad last night? It's weird. You know, in some ways, it's the defenders on the Magic side are just good defenders to kind of try and guard his type of player, and that they really did kind of find him and not let him do a whole lot of things in certain ways. Grady was 2 of 11, 2 of 7 from 3. He made both his free throws, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover, a -8 with only 8 points in 30 minutes. Yeah, that's an area where we needed more points manufactured. And yeah, there were some ugly misses by the Raptors that should have gone down that didn't. But none of that added up to getting close to winning the game. In some ways, it's just that the effort was futile to come back and close the gap at the right times. And in fact, the Magic blew the game open in the fourth quarter instead of when we were supposed to get closer. We did get closer. We did get closer with some minutes to go, and it was looking like we were trying to surge up and overcome them. But then, yeah, Cole Anthony making some big baskets late to keep the margin out of reach with the time on the clock. And that's just how it went down. Emmanuel quickly 4 for 17 last night. That not a good shooting night for Emmanuel. He was a little off. In fact, Darko talked about it after the game. He said often when players are out for a long time and they come back for the first game, there's an adrenaline rush and that you play really, really good in your first game, but then you kind of fall back into, I got to find my pattern and my rhythm as a shooter. In the second game, you come down more to earth. And some of it has to do with, you know, you're completely fresh without playing for like a couple months. And then you play a game, you're sore and you're tired after the first game, and you have to get back into your recoup kind of schedule on top of the playing schedule. And that's part of it right there with Emmanuel, is that he was fresh in that Brooklyn game, and it mattered. And he kicked some at. He came down to earth a little bit and had some of the rhythm and finding his shot kind of stuff a little bit more trouble in this game. And it's partly because of recovery and recouping from the first game. And that makes sense. That's what Darko said. 4 of 19, 4 of 17, 1 of 9 from 3. And those threes were tough because they were good shots, a lot of them. And Emmanuel just didn't hit them. It's too bad. It's too bad. In some ways, that it really was the Magic were so hot from 3 and made like franchise records for their 3-point shooting, and the Raptors couldn't muster up any threes at all, any of them. Manuel was 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 turnovers. So 11 to 3 assist to turnover ratio. It's not bad. It's still really, really good. +1 though. Emmanuel was a winner on the court. They won by 1 the whole time he was out on the court. Just 11 points though. And another guy who needs to carry a certain amount of scoring to help us. The bench isn't scoring. Grady isn't scoring. Emmanuel isn't scoring. We're in trouble because RJ's not playing either. And where's the scoring production coming from for the Raptors? That on the down low is a concern for us, that we need very, very regular, consistent production from Grady, Jacoby, Emmanuel, even Oshai to an extent, even though Oshai is not always dependent on getting a lot of points, but we need him to as much as possible. I mean, he was the 3rd leading scorer in the game last night. As I said, off the bench were anemic with their scoring. It was really, really tough. Jacoby Walter, 18 minutes, 2 of 3, 1 for 2 from 3. That late 3 that he hit was part of keying a comeback, and I loved seeing it, the confidence of Jacoby. He kinda hesitated, and I was like, "No, shoot that, Rook. They left you open. You can make that top of the key 3." And he did. And it really was a help because it was starting to close the gap, and that was when Scotty was also trying to come up and do things himself to help. And yeah, Jacoby's amazing. I'm really, really happy with that draft pick. And the more we go and find out about Jacoby Walter, the promising future for him is very, very bright. Very, very bright indeed. Yeah. 2 rebounds for him also. Only 5 points, though. That's what we need. We need the production from you, Jacoby. Jamal Shed, 14 minutes, 1 of 2 from the field. Missed his only 3. 1 rebound, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 6-2, a turnover ratio. Not as good. Minus 11 with 2 points. He was actually the worst plus minus on the team for last night. Jamal Shed, which is too bad. Davion Mitchell, 13 minutes, 1 of 2. He made his only 3-point attempt, which was a nice corner 3 after a lot of passing around. That was really nice to see. Threes were really tough to get for the Raptors last night. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, a +3 with 3 points for Davion. That's the only points he scored was on that 3-pointer. Yeah, in some ways, we need more points from somebody. Bruce Brown, 0 for 2 from the field, made 2 free throws, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 points in 13 minutes. Running cardio, waste of time. Why are you out there? Why are you out there? Kelly Olynyk, 2 for 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 6 points, a +1 for Kelly Olynyk in 15 minutes. Yeah, bench, anemic, really bad. Meanwhile, Orlando's team is just going off with their bench. Yeah, that's a big difference right there. 3-point shooting and bench production. Big, big time. Big, big time. Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad, man. Yeah, boss take. It's too bad they couldn't close the gap and do a little bit better. Well, RJ's out there. Maybe he wills the way to the last little part that they couldn't do. Yeah. All right, you guys are jumping in with the names right now. I see there's 4 different people writing it, or 3 different people writing in names right here. We got Nako the Nacho is first with Cooper Flag, Mr. Raptor Freak. And Stargate saying Igor Demon. And Monique wants Ace Bailey. All right. I did the first scout for Nako. I feel like Cooper Flag is an easy one. All due respect, Nako, I would do that one for you, but I'm going to go next in line because that got you for the scout of the day first time. We will do Cooper Flag at some point for sure, but I'm going to do Igor because Stargate's in there second. We'll get Ace Bailey also, Monique, at some time. And I don't want to disregard your request also, but I'm only going to do one, and Stargate's going to get this one because I did Nako last time, and I want to make sure that I do different people. So I'm going to go ahead and put Stargate in. I appreciate you, Nako, and I will do Cooper Flag. You know I'm going to scout Cooper Flag. So we're going to do Igor Demim. Here's your scout of the day, guys. I'm going to look at Igor Demin for the first time in my life ever. He's a Russian. Okay, this guy's Russian, huh? He's from Moscow. He's 18 years old. He is born March 3rd. He is 6'9". Okay, he's 6'9". He's not a true 7-footer. He's a guard. They have a at position of guard, 6'9" guard for the BYU Cougars, 190 pounds. Okay, so he has a European career. His father, Vladimir, was a player. Vladimir Demin? I do kind of remember that name. Let's see. Okay, so he played for Real Madrid, and now he's playing at BYU in the United States. So he's a Brigham Young Cougar. All right, let's go look at this kid on YouTube. Let's see what he looks like. Igor. That's who we're looking at today. Igor. Get the brains, Igor. Oh, all right, let me see. Let's get the right one. This is his early season highlights. And they're saying he might be a top 5 pick in the draft. Okay. Very, very interesting. All right, let's see. This is about a 5-minute clip. I'm going to look at it. Down. All right, he's shooting a free throw. He's taking a nice big breath before he shoots it. All right, here we go. Let's see. He's the guard. He's number 3. Right down the lane and throwing it down. Very nice little stutter step. Okay, he's got a really jaunty, weird dribble. He's not very quick in some weird ways. Like he's long and he's very loopy. I see that he's kind of like it's weird because he does have some real kind of dribbles, but he's on his own pace. It's a weird thing. There's an interesting pass. Is he one? He's one of these big kind of like Russian guys who can pass really well, kind of like Arvydas Sabonis, I guess. There's an alley oop, very very nice lob alley oop there. So he's 6'9". He's a point guard. He's skinny. There's one thing is he's skinny. His body looks like it may not hold up to the NBA size right away. He's going to need a size build. He's going to have to put on the weight and get some muscle. There's a 3-point shot. It's a flick wrist shot. It's not totally fundamentally awesome. There's a nice little stutter step, go around, attack the rim. We're seeing a variety of offensive attacks from him in this clip of him at BYU. He's doing a lot of different everything. He's doing lobs. He's doing transition passes. He's shooting threes. He's attacking the basket and throwing it down if he can get around his defender. You know, some of these plays that are in his highlights are actually assists. And they're just showing him and his passing ability to find people to get shots. There's a nice little step shot around the screen at the top of the key for 3. So I don't know. This guy's projected top 5. In some ways, I could see why he's attractive because he's a 6'9" guy who plays guard. In some ways, I don't know if we need that just because of Scotty. I mean, I don't know if this guy would be better than Scotty. In some ways, isn't he duplicitous with Scotty? Is he not? He's not. If he's a 6'9" guy, he's not going to play like a down court, front court kind of position with rebounding and paint protection. In some ways, I want a 6'9" guy that's a front court player and not necessarily a guard, because in some ways we got that already, right? With Scott, Scotty's kind of like this guy's player build in some ways. And I don't know, like, I guess you could say, oh, you could never have too many of these kind of guys around. But that's why I would not be totally interested in him, is because I don't want to step on Scott's toes. And I want Scotty to be able to be that big playmaker for us still. And I don't know if there's room for that with this guy on the team, because I don't think this guy, Igor, can play front court as a 6'9" guy. And if there's a lesson in the Raptors history to look at for this, is Bosch and Bargnani. Is you don't want to have too many really tall guys on your team that don't actually play front court, because you're not going to get rebounding and rim protection and paint protection, you know, because I don't know. It's nice to have tall players at all positions, but in some ways, this guy may confuse things. This guy may confuse things. And I don't know if he's good enough. Like, is he like a Luka? Is he like a Luka where he just makes shots and he's really crazy, magical shooter? And then, like, I don't know, the passing stuff is looking really good. That is his best attribute, honestly. I don't know if it's his shooting, guys. Like, he looks like he's a big point guard. Really, really does. In the highlight reel I'm watching right now. So, yeah, I think he may be a very talented player. A very kind of like, he in some ways reminds me of Josh Giddey, but not as strong right now. I mean, he looks like Buzelis and kind of acts like Buzelis, but he's got a lot of Giddey kind of stuff. Although I don't think he rebounds like Giddey, which is one of the real big bonuses of Josh Giddey, is he's an extremely good rebounder along with the passing, not so much a good shooter. Maybe this guy's a better shooter than Giddey, though. Man, that's tough. That's tough. I'm not a huge fan, Stargate. I'm going to say that. I think that in some ways he's an interesting player, but I don't know if he fits in our puzzle. And a lot of it's because of Scotty, honestly. I don't know. Maybe they may see something that I don't see. There's Igor Demin. I've done my scout of the day now. BYU's Igor Demin, a 6'9" guard from Russia. Yeah, he looks talented. He looks good. Does he fit with our team, though? Does he fit in our scheme of culture and play and what we need? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Darko likes him because of his Euroball stuff. And he has certain things. Thank you for the scout of the day, Stargate. And yes, Monique, I'll do Ace Bailey in the days and weeks to come. And same thing for you, Nako, with Cooper Flag. Salute to the Raptor Freaks, Nako the Nacho, and Superfan Monique. I appreciate y'all. Kaz saying, good morning, y'all. Our defense is so ass. This is why I'm saying maybe we don't need to get this guy that I just scouted, is because I want to, you know what, I do kind of want to draft guys in this draft that are defensive oriented. They're going to increase our defensive ability. You know, that's where a guy like Yves Missy or the kid that they got in Philadelphia, Bona, are really nice to have around. You bring in some defensive projects like an OG Anunoby came into the Raptors years ago. That's what we may need to do. Shamshay is kind of this already, and he was showing it yesterday. He got 6 blocks, y'all, yesterday, just so y'all know. Shamshay getting 6 blocks against the Austin Spurs last night. I'm just saying, we want more defensive projects because this is a problem. Kaz is right. Our defense is ass. Absolute ass right now. So ass. All right, let's see what Rich is saying, and let's see if he's going to make an early exit here. It looks like he might. All right, how long will Raptors fans continue to go down this road with Masai? As long as we can. Why would we not? He's a proven GM, and being around the NBA for a long time, it's more likely you're going to be a shitty GM and not a very proven GM like Masai is. So why would we get rid of somebody who's not a problem in his position? He's done a very good job since the championship. It's bullshit that people think that he's been failing since, because he's done amazing moves. If you're really paying attention in a day-to-day basis like we do on this channel, well, you see things like the Jalen McDaniels trade this summer and how he turned Jalen McDaniels, a player who did nothing for us last year, into Davion Mitchell and some cap room and a draft pick even. And I would also say, I mean, Masai had another banner year of drafting this past year. Him and Bobby outdid themselves, getting 5 great rookies this year. And in the years to come, Rich, they're going to be saying that 2024 was one of the best draft years for the Raptors once again, just like the year when we drafted Jakob Poeltl and Pascal Siakam and had an undrafted guard named Fred VanVleet. So, yeah, Rich, you can go ahead and sleep on Masai's accomplishments in recent years and say, oh, they haven't done anything since the championship and they're this and this. Do you not understand the NBA did a hit job on the Raptors franchise after they won the championship in 2019? And they put us through some rigmarole. Sure, the pandemic was convenient. We're the only team in Canada. We have to play a whole entire season in Tampa. Yeah, they wanted to bury us in the ground. They did not want Kawhi Leonard to re-sign with us. They encouraged him very heavily to go to LA and play for the Clippers. If we had kept Kawhi, we would be a dynasty. We would have won another championship. That's for sure. I'd say that right now, because the Raptors were so good in the bubble and they were missing Kawhi. They would have got past Boston and they might have won their second championship in a back-to-back situation in the bubble. Never will know, because Kawhi's an idiot and he dropped the ball and made a poor decision for himself. So, I mean, you can go ahead and have your ideas about Masai Ujiri. I'm watching him. I understand his track record for over 10 years of running the Raptors. We've been winning most of those 10 years. And so why would we get rid of a position of somebody who's doing a good job in what they do? Because that's what he is right there. Yeah. Yeah, he's saying this. Kawhi isn't walking through the door anytime soon. See, Rich Porco, why am I wasting my time reading your comments? Because obviously you're a Raptor hater and you're a piece of shit. And Rich, I am not looking for subscriptions. I don't give a fuck if people subscribe to my channel. I'm not trying to garner. I'm just looking for quality. I'm looking for not quantity, quality. And you're not part of the quality that I'm looking for on this channel. So let me look and read a couple more of your comments, and then I'm going to kick you out for good. And I appreciate your short-term subscription, but I don't need your fucking subscription, Rich Porco, on a shitty little fucking Saturday morning, you piece of shit. Yeah, I'll call you a piece of shit because I don't care about subscribers. I love my people, the regulars, the real Raptor freaks. But otherwise, I'm not trying to kiss everybody's ass to keep people on my channel. So fuck you, man. All right, I'll say that. Let's see. Raptors draft picks over the years wouldn't give me much encouragement either. Okay, yeah. I don't know what you're fucking watching, you dumbass. Do you not see Jacoby Walter, a value pick at 19? You do not see Grady Dick, a value pick at 13? Do you not see Arish Shamshay, a project coming from Basketball Africa straight to the league at 18 years old, and the promise of a wingspan of Giannis Antetokounmpo, you dumbass piece of shit motherfucker? Do you not see the advanced level of Jamal Shed and his point guard work already in the NBA, barely played half a season? Do you not see the gem that Bobby and Masai uncovered in Summer League from Ohio State named Jamison Battle? That's an absolute dead eye for three-point shots. Yeah, you don't fucking see it because you don't want to look at it because you're a piece of shit and you just want to be negative towards Raptors fans and try and come in and gaslight me. Motherfucker, we're in a rebuild. We're supposed to lose right now. So here's the door, motherfucker. You're out, man. Grady is almost at 15 shots for 17 points. Hard to win with that. Ooh, you know what? Fuck you. You're out, bro. 2-finger salute for Rich Porco. I'll kick his person out every single day if I have to. I will. You come in here incorrect, you get the fucking door. is what you get, Rich. Adios, dumbass, is what I'll say right now. Bryce is saying, are you faulting a second-year player for having 17 shots on 17 points on 15 shots? Yeah, I don't give a shit about what he said. Grady Dick is a shooter. He's going to have his ups and downs. And, well, last night he had a down game where he did not make more shots than he missed. And that's too bad. That's going to happen. His shooters are going to have streaks. And in some ways, Grady has been trained since he was a young child to be a shooter with a short memory, and he's going to be fine. In some ways, he's going to be better through shooting streaks off, because he's going to get back on track sooner, because he's just that kind of mentality. And I have total faith in that. Yeah, Kaz is saying at this point, trade Bruce for a photocopy machine. No, there's going to be something of value for him. And that's why I love Masai and Bobby, because I trust in them. And I know that they're going to turn Bruce around finally at some point for something worthwhile. I know they will. And if we could just get him to play a little harder, play a little better, Bruce, because in some ways, man, you're just running cardio, bro. You told us your knee would be healed this year and you'd be a different Bruce than last year. No, I think in some ways, one knee Bruce last year was actually better than two knee Bruce this year. I don't know, man. Seriously, I'm just wondering about it, man. I'm just wondering about it. Yeah. Kaz is saying, boy, if we opted into Bruce's contract and he doesn't get traded and then ends up walking at the end of the season, I will lose it. Yeah, I think that Bobby and Masai are going to trade him for sure. Don't worry about this. This will get done. And in some ways, people can say whatever they want about different situations and stuff like that. But yeah, that would be a shitty, fucked up thing to happen for sure. What you just described. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that either. But we're going to have to see. You got to give them a chance. There was a lot of this kind of confusion at this time last year, and it just changed all of a sudden right around right now when we did finally move Anunoby and then Siakam after that, because there were the same issues. It was as far as like, well, is this guy going to walk at the end of the year? We're not going to get anything for him. Well, we did, and we got these things done, and we will on this one also. Trust me. We will. Tristan's here. It's frustrating to lose to their bench. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Let me look at the Magic for a second and give them a couple kudos, because in some ways, we got to recognize the team that won and what they did good. That rookie was really good. Tristan Da Silva, a 23-year-old rookie who played 4 years of college, has a really good pedigree, and he does really fit in with the Orlando scheme of things with their long arm monster kind of team they're building of all-around kind of guys. 9 of 13, 5 of 7 from 3. The three-point shooting was just phenomenal for them. And the crazy thing is, Orlando's not a very good three-point shooting team. It just happened to be on fire against us last night and did way better than normal. They went off script in some ways. 5 of 7 for that rookie. I'm telling you, amazing stuff. 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 25 points for Tristan Da Silva. Yeah, that's a good player. It's very, very interesting. I also want to give some shine to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, as I was mentioning earlier. 6 for 10, 3 of 7 from 3. Very measured veteran, and knowing exactly what to do to help his team win. He was the plus 13, the highest plus minus on the Magic, along with Cole Anthony, who, as I said, was the late game dagger guy. Cole Anthony's like this. He may be off their bench and he may be not starting, but he can be a starter. He's done it for the Magic in the past. In some ways, it's mystified me, the role of Cole Anthony. I think it's really just more to cater to Jalen Suggs and have him in the starting lineup, because Cole Anthony was a perfectly good starter for the Magic years back. And the fact that he's been consistently a bench player in the last 2 years speaks a lot to the depth of the Orlando Magic right now. So, I mean, I can't get mad at that. Even the great G League player Trevelyan Queen came in and had a little bit of good stuff in there, 2 for 2 with 1 for 1 from 3, just making a quick appearance. It's kind of funny to see Juwan Howard's son out there bumbling around a little bit. That was fun to see. Caleb Houston talking trash with Scotty a bit, because of course they're best friends. And they have a lot of history with each other. Scotty did back down Caleb and try to beat him. It was pretty fun. There was definitely some personal matchups in there. Jalen Suggs, when he got hurt, you could tell that a lot of the Raptors were concerned for him, including Scotty, of course, because he's good friends with him for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Slug Deezy saying Raptors defense is the worst I've seen since Jay Triano was our coach. That's actually a fair point. I think that is pretty accurate. I would say there was some times where our defense were absolutely horrible underneath Nick Nurse. Like, you gotta think about some of the stuff around Tampa, and even last year, like, when Yak and Scotty were out, that was really bad for defense then. But yeah, not keeping the level of defensive intensity and things that we're used to around our championship team, and even the Casey years. This is very, very good point right here. Because as far as like Casey had a certain level of defense consistently pretty much the most of the 8 years he's our coach. And Nick carried that mantle into the championship. But then, like I said, when things got hurt for us, like around Tampa, and we're using Baines and Len as our centers, our defense went out the window then. But this is a pretty good comment. I think Slug's pretty on point. It's about as bad as a Jay Triano Raptors team from way back, way, way back. Kaz is saying Goga is hella underrated. Don't sleep on him. He's goofy. He can't shoot threes. And it was funny that they dared him to shoot a three, and he did take a couple last night. Yeah, he's a goofy player, but man, he is active and he's doing good things to help the Magic. That's for sure. But yeah, is he their starting center normally, or do they not start a center? They play Paulo and Franz, and they kind of just do like a Paulo at the big kind of thing, or does Mo get the play? I don't know. It's very interesting. Of course, we're going to see Orlando 3 more times this season, including a crazy 2-game series in Orlando in March. That'll be interesting, man. Yeah. All right, let's see. Fiercey's saying, good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Still growing, baby steps. Lex, there was a report from Bleacher Report saying the Jazz did not get enough in return for Oshai. That's an interesting take. I like that. I haven't heard about that one. That's pretty cool. I mean, in some ways, you may be right. The Raptors did a really good job in that deal. I mean, Kelly Olynyk, in some ways, people are not totally impressed with him, but he's been very helpful. And he does help us with our front court and our defense in certain ways, even if it doesn't seem like it. He does. Yeah, that's a great take. I love hearing that Utah Jazz have a little bit of remorse over the deal because Abaji's expanding his game so well right now. Maybe they gave up on him a little early. Well, that's why we get to reap the benefits. And Jazz, well, maybe you should have developed him differently, like Darko developed him. There you go. There you go. I like that, Fiercey. I'm going to give you a dunk, Fiercey, for being a positive Raptors fan and bringing me things like this instead of the garbage that Rich brought me. So 3-pointer for Fiercey. It's Fiercey's first dunk of the year, 2025. There you go. Boom. Jimmy saying gave up far too many wide open 3-point shots. Kudos to them for hitting them at a high clip. Yeah, in some ways, the Magic, I guess we didn't put up enough resistance, and the Magic were just in a groove. And as Darko said, we allowed them to get good feelings and confidence, and they just took that ball and ran with it from the start. That's part of it, man. You can't let a team get confidence, and the Raptors are allowing teams confidence in different ways too easily. And this does circle around to what we just said about our team not having very good defense. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I'll go look at the team stats real quick for this game overall and talk about exactly what we're talking about right now. The Magic we got one more shot on goal than them and made one more field goal than them, but the difference in the game is more 3-pointers made by them. 19 threes for them, only 10 for us. They ended up shooting 43% by the end of the game, but in the first half, they shot like 60%. They were just shooting crazy, crazy high. They cooled off later in the game for sure. Free throws, we didn't get to the line as much as them. They got +4 free throw attempts, but we made 11 of 13. We only missed 2 free throws, and they were both on Scott. And honestly, Scotty's such a good free throw shooter. When he misses free throws, it's because he is not in the game with his head. It's because he's rankled a little bit and he's not totally breathing right or taking the time to just take it easy to shoot the shot and concentrate. And that was definitely his 2 free throws last night. He was a little rankled when he stepped to the line. It was from contact that was happening on the court. They out-rebounded us. This was an important battle that I said they needed to win. And 42-37 was the final rebound count for the Magic. They got way more offensive rebounds than us too, 12. And we had a really hard time getting any second chance shots. They did a really good job of boxing out and not allowing us second chance shots. A lot of that was Goga. Goga was swallowing up those rebounds pretty good. 32 assists for the Magic, only 28 for us. The Stocks, 18 for them, only 7 for us. So they were getting some good defensive steals, and they had 8 blocks too. And yeah, the Raptors couldn't get any turnovers on them. Now, we did clean up the game as we went through it. The first half, we had way more turnovers. And by the end of the game, we were playing way more ethically with avoiding turnovers. Only 11 turnovers for the Raptors. But the crazy thing is, they had more turnovers, but less points were converted off turnovers for the Raptors. So, and Darko pointed this out, that the 20 points they got off of turnovers off of us were huge, huge problem. And part of the contribution to the loss is that we turned the ball over and they scored too easy after the turnover. We weren't getting back and guarding very well. No, we weren't. We won the points in the paint. A lot of that was Jakob, 44 points in the paint right there. Yeah, it's too bad. 3-pointers, bench scoring, and rebounding. 3 huge, huge important things that the Raptors lost at. And it's too bad. It's too bad. Yeah. Let's see. Nako's saying Dylan Harper is probably a more ideal Scotty pairing than Cooper. Flag is the better prospect, though. All right, we'll have to see. And Slug's wondering why I'm not wearing purple today. I didn't feel like they deserved it, honestly. I mean, the margin was close enough. I mean, what did they lose by? They ended up losing by 9. So they got the margin under 10. And even though that really was kind of a blowout and it was kind of a rout for most of the game, and they didn't really get close enough to actually challenge for the game by the end, the closing of the margin to that by the end of the game made it okay for me in some ways. Yeah. G saying Orlando is a well-oiled machine. They did not miss a beat. Yeah, that's a well-coached team, and they're doing next man up mentality, and they have their shit together better than us in certain ways on defense, especially, and that was part of it. In some ways, it's similar to or Atlanta. They have a really good kind of like shit disturbing kind of thing in the middle that makes it hard for our offense to run smoothly, and they get deflections, and they kind of get steals here and there. There was a lot of dumb stuff with our team where they weren't connecting. Some of the stuff around Grady that's annoying me is half-ass shit. Like, he half-ass passes it. He doesn't put zip on it, and they just pick it off and run down the court. Or he doesn't come to the pass that's coming to him aggressively to close out and get the pass. And the defender runs in between him and the ball and gets the steal. Grady, don't half-ass shit. Full out. If you're going to pass it with some zip, because you can't just loft it easy because people come and pick it out of the air. And then when people are throwing it to you, you need to go and get it. You can't stand and wait for the ball to come to you. You got to come aggressively towards it to take it. That's some of the stuff I'm seeing. It's not just Grady. I'm pointing him out because I see it in both ways with him. There's a lot of different guys that are having problems with the two things I just said, where they're throwing the ball too casually, it's getting picked off, or they're not coming to get the pass aggressively enough with the defender hounding to try and steal the ball also, coming to intercept it. You got to meet that contact. This isn't college, guys, where you can just do an easy pass because the talent and your talent is better than most of the other guys. No, everybody's really good and fast. And when you pass the ball, you aggressively have to go and catch it. You can't wait for it and think that, it's going to be there because there's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope jumping in the passing lane and stealing the ball from you because you didn't come to meet it. That has happened to us a lot in recent games. I've seen it, yeah. Kareem saying, I know Davion isn't a primary scorer, and he catches a lot of flack for that, but he needs more minutes. He brings defensive energy that helps change the momentum of the game. He helps players lock in. I agree with what you're saying exactly. Yeah, I like Davion playing. I know he's not going to score a lot of points, but in some ways, the benefits of him on our defense are outstanding. And I completely concur with Kareem Thomas on this point right here. Yeah, I want to see him get more minutes, even if it's at the detriment for Jamal right now. Because honestly, Davion in some ways is that game changer that can have an effect without scoring on the game to help us win. And we need to unlock that better and utilize it better. I totally agree with this. Monique's saying stars of the game for her, Yak, Oshai, Scotty, same as Lex. I can say that because I was at the game. Yeah, I know Mo was at the game last night. Thank you for going. And I know you did your part. I know my criticism earlier is more for the crowd in general, that I just don't like how they get defeated and stuff like that. Have more pride for yourselves, Raptors fans, at the game, and just be unflappable. Do not let the other team have any dictation on stuff like that. So yeah. All right, let's keep going. Wayne is saying, "Morning, Raptor freaks. The proper perspective is that our timeline is similar to October in terms of healthy bodies. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is it's crazy because we had a jump start at the beginning of the season with continuity and togetherness that was above the rest of the teams in the league. And we saw that in a lot of the games where some of them we won and some of them we kept close with really top-notch teams in this league because we took the extra time leading into the season to really build up team chemistry. Well, the injuries and the losing and the constant changing and shuffling of our rotation and lineup has made it really hard to build a continuity at this point in the season that a lot of the other teams are enjoying already because they're 3 months into the season and they've had their full cast together and they, for the most part, and they've had the ability to really start generating some familiarity. And in some ways, the Raptors still have a lot of different players that have just come back, like Emmanuel, like Bruce, that are still having the gel start like it's October, like what G is saying, or like what Wayne is saying here. That it is in some ways that's part of the problem is the connectivity and the time played together has been all screwed up because of the injuries. And that is part of it right there. Yeah. Yeah. Bryce is saying, Rich, I believe you're still living in the early 2000s. Yeah, I didn't read his comments and I kicked him out of the chat already because honestly, this is a Raptors fan channel. And if you're not a Raptors fan, you get the fuck out, is what I'm doing right here, man. Seriously, this is a clubhouse. I'm just like that kid down the street at a treehouse. It's cool. Everybody sits and collects comic books and talks about things that they're excited about. And, well, it's not for everybody. There's a sign on the outside. This is for Raptors fans only or fans that respect the Raptors enough from other teams like our friend Milbester. But yeah, this isn't a channel. And even you consider yourself, Rich, a Raptors fan of some sort, you are not. You are not, my guy. You are not a Raptors fan. It's obvious. You disrespect us. You don't like us. And you're in some ways gleeful about our current position in the NBA right now. So that I have no place for you on this channel. So get the fuck out. Porkins, isn't that the Star Wars guy who got destroyed or killed in the X-Wing battle at the Death Star? Porkins. Oh! That's what happened to Porkins. Porkins went Porkins like in Star Wars. That's right. There you go. Anybody who knows that reference, you're a real Star Wars nerd like Carl Lane. That's right, like Carl Lane. G's saying if they can develop even a decent offensive game with Davion, his defense is so needed, not only in games, but during scrimmages and practice. Yes. Yes, he's a great player to have on your team for practice. He's going to sharpen the great offensive skills of Emmanuel Quickley and Jamal Shed and other people too, Jacoby Walter. Yes. Yes. It's so hard to go up against him. You're going to get tightened up with your handle because he will come and take it from you. That's right. Tough game. Tough game, Seymour. That's right. Tough game. What is that? A little cat in a box? Tough game. Cat in a box. I like that. That made me laugh. Seymour, I'm going to give you a dunk just for a cat in a box. This man has brought me a cat in a box from Calgary, and I'm going to give him a dunk for that. A cat in the box. There you go. There you go. I like that. Most saying, preach, Lex, on the crowd. I'm definitely making my noise. I just wish that, seriously, y'all are paying so much money. You're spending a Friday evening at the Scotiabank Arena. You traveled in the cold weather to go down there. You made all that effort just to go down there and sit and be quiet and watch the game. No. Cut loose. Like at the game on New Year's Day, there was a lady sitting in front of me, and at halftime, she said, I should have brought my earplugs. Yeah, because I was yelling in her ear, and in some ways she was making dirty looks at me. And I told her, I was like, you're at a basketball game. What did you expect? Like, seriously, you're at a basketball game. What? Do people come to the Raptors games expecting there to be a nice, tranquil, quiet, serene environment? So, I maybe be able to meditate a little bit in the middle of 19,000 people screaming defense? You're an idiot. If you're going to go to a basketball game, bring your earplugs, yes, if you need them. And understand there may be people like me sitting behind you that may be yelling the whole entire game. And that I'm not at fault. I did not do anything wrong. In fact, I waved to the usher because I know him. He's my friend, Thuzy. And he's like, yeah, hey, Lex, hey, Happy New Year. How's your kid, man? And he was like, yeah, I love you, man. I hope you have a great 2025. Oh, thank you, Lex. I hope you do too. Thank you, Raptors Freak. Yeah, it helps when you know all the ushers. You can be loud. I'm not cussing. I'm not being disruptive. I'm going to a basketball game and cheering for my team passionately at the highest volume of my voice. And there ain't a single law against that. So all you negative ninnies, you Karens, you You're looking back at me, the little kid looking back at me like, what is that guy doing? So cringe. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, you should be doing it too. That's what I said to him. The little red hair kid turned around, look at me. I said, you should be doing what I'm doing too, kid. What are you doing with your life? You're going to come down there, your parents going to spend all this money on your tickets, and you ain't even going to get loud to help the Raptors win? What are you doing with your life? You're wasting your time. That's right. Monique's down there getting loud. I know she is. That's right. I know Monique is getting loud. That's right. That's right. That's right. 44.5. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good to see you back in the chat this morning. Yikes. Yikes. Let's see. Kareem saying, I agree with you, Lex. Raptors fans at the game and on social media need to do better. We got cheerleaders and dance packs doing their jobs despite the score, and they should be an extension to the fans. That's what I'm saying. Y'all want to be the next level of we can't be fucked with? What I'm describing is what y'all need to do. And seriously, the more we ingrain this, there's people that understand this. I watch the 9:05 school day game, and the kids come out there and they get this. We see these kids doing what I'm saying as far as doing the relentless defense chants and just being loud in the crowd for the team no matter what. The next generation will get this right better than the older generations right now, and I'm proud of that. And in some ways, that may be partly my legacy of trying to encourage this to get to this point. Because you guys understand, this is a work in progress I've been working on for 30 years. I started working at the Air Canada Center when they opened it in 1999, and it was dinner theater. People sitting around just politely watching the game, being nice Canadians. And I started yelling at them at that point as a food and beverage concessions worker, coming out in the crowd saying, get up! Shit loud. Maybe I was raised in Florida and I understood this about sports, but the Raptors fans didn't understand this. It took Vince Carter getting them out of their seats and cheering and giving them confidence to get more loud as a crowd. But we could have done this from the start, just blindly, even though we didn't know exactly when to cheer or not. Well, we do now. We're an educated fan base with 30 years experience in the NBA, and we need to evolve. We've evolved from the days of dinner theater to the point where we had a Jurassic Park yelling outside, and Paul Pierce can hear us yelling from the inside of the arena. And inside the building, I watched that clip that Mike told me to watch from Rusty Buckets or whatever about our championship year. And the guy's complaining on the clip saying, I couldn't find any clips of the Raptors in the finals without the crowd being too loud because the crowd was so crazy loud for them. That's right. That's right. That's the way Toronto crowd could be every single game we want to. We can be Cameron crazies. We can be a college crowd in the NBA every single night if the people that go to the games choose to use their voices. And that's what I want. That's right. Kareem's exactly right. Dance Pack's going to do the dance. Northern Classics, that great older dance pack is going to do their dance. All those different dance packs are going to do their dance. It doesn't matter if the Raptors are winning or not. They come to do it. Strizzy's going to come and do what he does. The Raptors going to come and do what he does. Herbie's going to come and do what he does. So why don't the Raptors fans do the same thing? That's what I'm going to say. Right there. Kareem Thomas, you want another dunk? You're getting one because that's a great point, and I love it. I think he's exactly right. Why do we have to make our cheering for the Raptors contingent on whether they're winning or not, Raptors fans? Oh, they're just not good enough for me to make my vocal cords vibrate with noise. Okay, pretentious fuck. Just cheer for them. Doesn't matter what's going on with them. Jimmy's saying defensive schemes do need to be better, and obviously the players have a part to play, but the coaches do have the clipboard at the end of the day. Yeah, I wonder about this. I mean, the switch from Nurse to Brajakovic was a very dynamic change in philosophy. And the philosophy change in some ways was from defense to offensive concentration. That Darko has unlocked our offense to a certain degree to be more assists and having more capable offense. It's easier to score most of the time. Sometimes it's not totally true. They do still have problems with scoring at times recently, but for the most part, in the era of Darko, the offense has not gone stagnant and had really bad periods of time, even with a lot of injuries at times. That's the thing I worry about is like, where are the defensive geniuses? Where's the stuff? In some ways, is it because we short stacked our team with size, with really the only two bigs on our roster are Jakob and Scotty? Because honestly, the rest of our team is undersized and not really big on the block with rebounding and defense. And in some ways, is that the stealth tank manipulation by Masai and Bobby saying, well, if we don't have enough bigs on our team to compete rebounding wise, we'll lose and we will have a bad record and we'll get a high draft pick. I don't know. That's the way they did it in Tampa in some ways. Aaron Baines, Alex Len, those guys are jokes. And we couldn't do anything defensively with those guys at centers. That's why those positions are so important. That's why we're talking about it so much on this channel recently. Is the 4 and the 5 need to be locked down. And that is where we get the defensive capability, is getting better personnel to help strengthen the work that Jakob's doing by himself and Scotty's deciding to do when he wants to here and there. Jonathan Mobo is a good step in the right direction, and he's helpful. And he was helpful to the 905 last night, but he wasn't in Toronto last night. He was in Mississauga. So is Shamshay. He's another one that in the long term, he can help us with this a lot. But right now, he's in a 905 jersey and not playing for the Raptors. It is what it is. I think that's the best way we can do it, Jimmy, right there. And wonder and hope that our coach isn't so offensive minded that he's not doing his defensive job when coaching the team. That's what I worry about, Jimmy, right there. Yeah, Bryce is saying, wait, so franchise players are number one options? I think that people just want to label things all the time in any kind of way. The NBA used to label things by position. It's getting all crazy and weird in all kinds of different ways. I mean, I just scouted a 6'9" kid from Moscow that plays point guard. It's a weird thing, like labels. And everybody has an idea of what an NBA team's supposed to look like, and this is what the winning formula is. It's not the same. In fact, JJ Redick said this recently in his argument with Charles Barkley, that this league is like it has some variance and difference of styles because of personnel and who you have as your coach and who your players are in your roster. You can't be all the Golden State Warriors. Everybody's got to be different kind of team schemes and stuff according to who they have. And I think that this is something that people need to understand and expand their minds on. There's no prototypical franchise player that, this player is just this. I mean, Magic Johnson was a franchise player in his years for the Lakers, but he wasn't the number one scorer. So it's like, is there any hard and fast rules for this? I mean, in some ways, you could make the argument that Dikembe Mutombo, when he was on the Nuggets, he was the franchise player, but he wasn't the offensive scorer. It was Chris Jackson or Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, right? And was he the franchise player? I would say Mutombo was more important because he was so defensively integral to the Nuggets at that time. That, how do you fucking define? Like, those things have to be the same thing? The franchise player and the number one player, the number one scorer is the same thing? No. Scotty can be the franchise player, the franchise face of our team, and RJ can be the number one scorer. I don't have any problem with that. Why do people have to make rules? Why do people have to label things? That's what I would say, Bryce. That's right. And I know that's a counter retort to our friend that we kicked out already. Yeah, I appreciate you, Bryce. I really do. Name was saying, if Jalen didn't harbor such hatred for the Raptors, this is funny, he wouldn't have injured his back. That injury was rooted in spite. Nameless is hilarious. Now, I don't like seeing a player get hurt, and we've been seeing players get hurt on our court a lot recently, and it's too bad. I hate seeing it. But Nameless, you're hilarious, man. You know what? There may be an argument for what you're saying, that he's just so wrenched up with spite, that he wrenched his back up. And he fell. It was a weird injury. Nobody was near him. Nobody touched him. He was just like making such strong effort with his body to get after the loose ball. He wrenched his back and fell down. And he, in some ways, it was scary the way that he had to be leaving the court, y'all. I'm going to say this right now. They called it back spasms. But why was it that he couldn't stand or walk? Like, did he have some sort of, God forbid, any kind of like spinal cord injury where he found paralysis? Because it was very strange how they were picking him up off the court and putting him in a wheelchair, that he couldn't walk off the court on his own. And that's the thing. There was no contact. So it's got to be something really weird happened. Like maybe some cut into him and he had paralysis or something. He couldn't get off the court, man. That's scary as hell. Very, very scary. And you notice they draped the towel over his face when they took him out too, because he was probably crying and he didn't want people to see him crying. Yeah, it's scary, man. I hate this. I don't like injuries for anybody. And even Jalen Suggs, who hates the Raptors and comes at us so heavily, Nameless, you're funny. Because in some ways, this could be possibly true. There may be some truth to this to a degree. All right, let's see. Rich is giving me money. Let's see. They say he's saying this. I'll read this one comment. That's actually really impressive to be able to do that. If NBA had more fans like you, ratings wouldn't be so abysmal. Yeah, I mean, I wish the NBA would do better different ways. I appreciate that. That is a compliment, what you just said. That is a very nice thing for you to say. I'm just real loyal. I've always gone for underdogs. So, of course, Raptors are an easy fit for me because we are an underdog. And we understand that we're up against it. In some ways, the NBA is not good business for us to win. And that's part of the reason why they want us on the bottom of the pile. They manipulated things in such crazy ways, Rich. They manipulated things with the schedule this year, obviously, with top loading our schedule. And, knowing that our team is in a rebuild and so young and throwing us to the fire like this has been very difficult. It's not like they gave us an easy red carpet that rolled out for us to walk into the season and ease into it with our youth and learn. No, they gave us all the learning games at the end of the season. And then you add on the referees still do their hit jobs and manipulate games in certain ways. And they can cause like little micro frustrations along the way because they're just not calling calls for RJ, Scotty, or Grady. And it just can get very, very frustrating. They're trying to downtrot us. They're trying to make us give up. They're trying to make our players turn on each other. They're trying to make our players not happy to play in Toronto. That's all by design. But the great thing is we have a badass coach that's keeping guys on task, and the guys are staying together, and they are very much on the same place with the where we are in the project. None of them they understand what the drill is. And in some ways that is amazing. With so much dysfunction and losing and sadness, that we keep this ship sailing, and it's healthier than it was when Darko showed up at the very beginning of his NBA head coaching career with the team he had with Siakam, Schroeder, and Anunoby and those guys, that this team is in a healthier place mentally even than them. And that's pretty impressive considering all of the different things that we've gone through. Yeah. Stargate thinks that Rich Porco is Giovanni. Well, maybe, but he's gotten kicked out again. Definitely. I appreciate the compliment about me keeping my streak going and being passionate about the team. That is a very nice thing to say, Rich. I appreciate that. And thank you for the super chat. Totally not necessary, though. Totally not necessary. Let's see. Name is saying it wasn't game 7, Jalen, and now you're injured because you're overexerted yourself with your win at all costs attitude against Toronto. Clown. Let's not dump on him too much. I want to hear the prognosis of what happened to him because it looked like it could be a lot more serious than just back spasms, guys. It looked like it could be a lot more serious, and that's not good. The Magic, in some ways, this is a great year for them to up and coming and do some noise in the playoffs, but the injuries are going to hurt that with their standing. But who knows how healthy they will be around playoff time. That could be a real big difference in how they do. We'll have to see. Not having more Tiz is going to be a problem, but Franz and Paulo come back by the end of the year, and Jalen Suggs, they could make some noise in the postseason. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Trevor's saying, remember, we have lots of Rockies, first-time players, lots of rookies, first time playing in the NBA. They have to learn how to win. We have to give it time to grow. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. The escalator where we're on, we're at lower in the escalator. We're not as high up as Orlando. Orlando's got a little bit more time and seasoning. And let's give a lot of credit to these mid-veteran guys. Like Isaac came out there and had a huge factor in the game. Him and Scotty got in some physical stuff in the middle of the game, which was interesting. Scotty not backing down to Jonathan Isaac. But, yeah, he had a factor in some of the stuff that they did. It was really these guys like Joseph, KCP, Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac. These are all guys that have long NBA careers already, that have done a lot of stuff in the NBA already. And that experience showed up in a way, even if this talent of the stars that were on the court, it looks like Raptors on paper are the better team. Well, there was certain levels of know-how and veteran that was utilized by the Magic in very, very crucial ways that helped them. And that's part of it right there. Cass saying, why are you deleting my Pat Delaney comment? Laughing my ass off. What did I say that was so bad? I don't know. Where was your Pat Delaney comment? I don't remember that. Where is it? I don't see it, Kaz. I didn't delete any of your comments for sure. The one I see there is Goga. I see a Goga comment where he's hella underrated, which I read. And you talked about trading Bruce. But, Kaz, I don't see any other comments from you until that comment. So I definitely did not delete your comment. I apologize. If you have a Pat Delaney comment, go ahead and bring it back. I'd love to see it. Name is saying, personal vendetta has gotten Jalen on the sidelines. Enjoy. Nameless, I'm going to allow you this one. I didn't like your storyline you were making up for Emmanuel earlier this week, but I'll allow this one. This is hilarious. And in some ways, this is the right kind of stuff. G saying Raptors didn't have defined roles really until now, it feels. A lot due to injuries, too. I feel like that was confusing. and doesn't help in practice with the youth. Very young and inexperienced team. There was interesting lineups out there at times last night. Like there was a small lineup they did where they do Bruce, Emmanuel, and Davion with like Jakob and Scotty. And the three guards were very, very interesting playing off each other. But man, I'm not impressed with Bruce. Bruce is not contributing enough and doing enough with his time out there. And I feel like he could be doing more. I don't know. I don't trust him for some reason. Like I don't feel like he's playing all out for us. I feel like he's kind of coasting and kind of being a cardio guy right now and not really trying to play that hard, honestly. Wayne's saying, realistically, we can't judge until the guys play at least 5 games together. We're also incorporating rookies. I ain't mad at a group, but just getting together after injuries, coaching rotations as well. Yeah, I can get behind everything you said right there, Wayne. Because in some ways they need a rhythm of a few games. One game, New Year's Day, that's fantastic. A great outcome. Next game, not such a great outcome. We got to see them over some time is exactly right. And they're supposed to get time and reps and more chemistry built up and that kind of stuff too. Because we do see some of the disconnection of not having reps and chemistry together because of all the people coming back from injury. And that's definitely happening. Trevor J is asking for the classic card, so we'll go ahead and do that right now. What is the time on there? Why are they not giving me timestamps anymore? That's weird. It used to be there's timestamps on these. I'm just going to remember that the 100% of Seymour is where I got to go back to. When I see that 100%, I know I'm at the right spot. All right, let's do the classic card. They're not very classic right now because they're Christmas cards that were given to me by my niece and nephew for Christmas. And this one's too easy. But y'all get on this right away because this card's not going to last very long. 100 points to whoever can name the full name answer of this classic card right here. This is very easy. Here we go. Who is this? The classic card. I'm not even going to bring it up close. Y'all need to know this from a distance for sure. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there you go. Slug Deezy got it. He's in there first. Lots of people adding, putting the name in. It is Anthony Davis of the Lakers. If you like this card, if you're an Anthony Davis fan, Paul B., if you come to the Raptors 905 game against Valley Suns, I'll have it in the box and I'll give it to you. I don't want this card. You can have it. So Anthony Davis is the classic card. I'm going to show you the 3 cards that I'm not going to put in the classic card box because these are not going to anybody because these are cards that I want to keep for myself. First of all, I've got a Marquise Noel rookie card that I love Marquise and his story. Even if he only played 1 game for the Raptors and didn't really stick around with us, and he's now on the Wizards G League team. I just love Marquise. I think Marquise is a cool player, and it's kind of cool to have his rookie card. I just wanted to have it. This guy's a personal favorite, and this is also a special reflective card, so I decided I want to keep this one. This is Dennis on the Brooklyn Nets from last year. It's a cool reflective card, and I really am a huge Dennis Schroeder fan. Even just a half year of him on the Raptors made me really, really like him a lot, and I wish him all the best. And he's a Raptor that I'm always going to celebrate, even though he only played for our team for half a year. And the last card, man, I was so happy when I got this one. This is my favorite basketball card right now. This one and my Scotty one, RJ. I got an RJ card from my niece and nephew for Christmas. I couldn't put him in the classic card box. This is too easy. And plus, I'm so happy to have an RJ Barrett Toronto Raptors card in my card collection. So sorry, these are ones that I'm not going to put available for everybody because these are cards I want to keep for my own personal collection because I love those 3 guys right there. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. Anthony Davis is the classic card of the day, and Slug Deezy has jumped in and got in it today. So we will put him down on the spreadsheet, and we'll see if David adds it up at some point. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. If he doesn't, I'll do it. We'll figure it out. All right, let me get back on track with the chat where I'm at, and let's see. It's the 100% is where I got to look. Seymour Pape saying dunk for Wayne Sargent, Wayne Strainer. 100% true. All right, you're calling out a dunk. I'm gonna let you do a John Stockton real quick, Seymour Pape, and we're gonna get Wayne Strainer a dunk right here. It'll be his first one of the year. Alley-oop from Seymour Pape to Wayne Strainer, 3-pointer for Wayne right there. Yeah, the dunks have all started over, and you guys can get your dunks in now. All right, let's see. What is Rich saying? Okay, Rich, I will read this comment too. I was checking out your community post. Does this Raptor Freak community get together for games? That would be pretty cool. Yes, we're going to be going to the Raptors 905 game on January the 19th. against the Valley Suns, their brand new G League team for the Phoenix Suns. It'll be the first trip they've ever come to Mississauga to come there. We've gone to Raptors games in the past. We've gone to this will be our second G League game we're going to this season. We've gone to open practice. We had coaches open house, open practice we went to. We've gone to different events over the 3 years. We've probably had about 8 or 9 Raptor Freak hangouts in the 3 years that we've been doing this. We have about 3 or 4 a year is basically what it is, Rich. I mean, I kicked you out. You did put your best foot forward. If you want to be a passionate Raptors fan that's on a positive tip, you can be here. It's just you got to change your behavior. And we're not taking some of the derisiveness is not important here because there's so many content creators online on YouTube and other places that are just pointing out all the issues and problems with the Raptors. And in some ways, we're a safe haven oasis in the middle of all that to try and stay positive and just enjoy being a fan of our team. And I think that's missed on a lot of Raptors fan nation is that they get so wound up on wins and losses and they get mad. And I'm just like, let's just be happy. We're in the NBA and enjoy that and be grateful for that and not so like crazy all the time. And the team's going to be in trouble during a rebuild. And we understand the assignment. A lot of the Raptors fans don't. They're confused. They want to get upset. Well, I'm supposed to try and educate and help them understand the project right now. The project is we're rebuilding. We're very young, and we're going to lose. And just get used to it right now, Raptors fans, for now. But down the road, we're going to come back around and win again. All right, Rich, you're kind of coming back around, and maybe you stepped on the wrong foot. Maybe I should give him another chance, guys. Should I give Rich Porco another chance, or is this Giovanni? All right, I've unhit him. Because I read a couple comments and they're pretty good ones. Stargate saying it's the playmaking and his IQ that makes him attractive, Lex. You're talking about with the kid that I scouted from Russia that you gave me, Igor. It's the playmaking and his IQ. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be duplicitous and step on toes in certain ways. But then again, Orlando's got the same player type they keep drafting between Banchero, Wagner, and Da Silva. That they're really going for that kind of look. Interesting. Kaz is saying, I agree, Lex. We need defensive prospects. Comment Malak. Yeah, that's who we looked at yesterday, Malak. And I thought that he was pretty interesting. Of course, we're saying that he probably would be around in the second round, that he could be that defensive center kind of pick late in the draft, in the second round. I like Malak. In some ways, I say green light on him, but in a later round. This guy, obviously, that I looked at today that Stargate gave me, Igor, he's a higher draft pick, and he's probably going to be a top 10 pick, right? So he would be who we shoot our shot on, our very high pick that's probably coming to us this year. So we'll have to see. Cass saying Cooper Flag, but I don't think we will get the number 1 pick. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get number 1, and obviously everybody's saying that's Flag. That's why in some ways, well, we'll be ready for anything. I'll do the scout on Flag in the next weeks or so. And we'll still look at him, even if he may not be exactly who we get, because we may not get the first pick, but we might get the first pick. I mean, we haven't had the first pick since 2007, and when we got Andrea Bagnani. And who knows? Maybe it's time for the Raptors to get their second first pick in the draft overall ever. Again, the second time ever happening. It'd be very interesting. G saying at Cass, we were on a minute restriction, so if you put a comment before that time, YouTube deletes it. Maybe that's what happened. I keep hearing about Malak. Need to study him. He was interesting. He looks, he's one of those guys that is in the uprising for the South Sudan team. He's one of the contributors that made them so good at the Olympics. He's got really, really good length, and he has some good strength already for a guy who's not in the NBA yet. He doesn't look like he's got some good body to him already. Like he can hold paint presence. And he's got some great long arms and really good shot blocking ability from what I could see. So that's going to be interesting about Mulak. Wayne saying, Raptor Streaks, we tend to portray potential heroes when we lose. Davion is no savior. He's not that good. A bit aggressive, which is good, but fouls too damn much. Same sentiment about Shamshay. No saviors. Well, I'm not saying about saviors right now, but down the road, there are projects down the road that could actually fruit up, especially Ulrich. Davion's a weird player because in some ways the Kings were not giving him situations for him to be successful. And now he is kind of getting that with us. So maybe, Mitchell, with the ability to get in our rotation and play pretty solid minutes for the most part so far this year. I mean, you started the beginning of the year, a lot of games. You need to showcase that you're expanding your offense and you're able to score more to help us. Because in some ways, we get it with what you do defensively. And you may think he's overrated on defense and he's fouling too much. I think the referees are using him as an example right now. There's a little bit of that going on, and it's not totally fair to him. Either way, he's aggressive and he's doing fantastic stuff. But yeah, down the road, Shamshay could be a savior for us with his rim protection, his paint protection, and his shot blocking and rebounding. But that may be like 2 or 3 years from now. That's what I'm saying. Kaz is saying, gee, I didn't say anything for a while, and normally it will just say it's just in slow mode, but not post the comments, but it's all good. Yeah, I have no idea why that comment didn't go through for Kaz. But if he has a Pat Delaney comment, I want to see that. Yeah. Kareem saying, laugh out loud. Lex calling newcomers a piece of shit after a subscription is diabolical. Lex never changed. Yeah, I don't remember Rich Porco being here. Is it a pseudonym? Is it somebody else? Who is it? I don't know. That's the thing about doing this channel is, people could be making up fake names and masquerading. I mean, my ex-wife could be in here and I don't even know it. That'd be crazy. What if my ex-wife is Rich Porco? That would be hilarious. That'd be crazy. No, I'm just saying, but just like when Darko showed up 2 summers ago, when we first hired him as a coach, I have to take people at face value. If people come into this chat with a name like Vince McMahon or Chet Holmgren, which has both happened in the past, or Darko Rajakovic, I'm not going to insult the person and treat them like they aren't who they're portraying they are. Call me dumb, but fool me once, fool me twice. Who cares? You come in to present yourself as a certain person. I'm going to treat you like that person. It's part of the fun of the channel in some ways. I will go off on Vince McMahon if he shows up in here and tell him he's a sex-crazed degenerate. Yeah. And then Chet Holmgren, yeah, I advise you to go to the Mandarin and bulk up on the buffet and just stay in there and eat. Get some meat on your bones, my guy. Yeah, and Darko, when he came in here and we talked to him, I treated him like he was Darko Rajakovic because I didn't know if he was or not. His picture was there. It was spelled correctly, and he sounded like him, and he didn't break character. And we found out later it actually was Darko that came in here when he first got hired by the Raptors. And he wanted to meet some of the passionate fans, so he came in and checked out the Raptor Freak channel. And he hung out with us a couple times, and he said some really nice things. He didn't break character. It seemed like him. And well, we found out later from an usher at the arena that Darko has that kind of personality behind the scenes, and he probably did come into the Raptor Streak channel and hang out with us on the channel. That's why I can't treat anybody different than who they portray themselves. So, Rich Porkins, I'm sorry I made a Star Wars reference. And you know what? Listen, I will go off. That's just the thing I do right there. Yeah, he gave a $2 donation. I know. I appreciate that, man. That's nice of him. But once again, I'm not running this channel for money. And people that have tried to buy me off in the past just to get their, whatever, to be a yes man to them. No, I'm not going to do that. I got to be Lex. Never change. All right, Kareem. I promise I won't. That's right. Seymour saying, Rich Porco, laugh out loud. Kareem saying, Lex is a real Toronto man. Yeah, I got to stand for the city. I don't care how beat down we are. I don't care what our record is. The Raptors are a championship franchise that have a rich tradition in their 30 years. And we have a tradition of winning it also with some futile stuff. And I like to shine a light on the stuff that we did good with. As Jack said last night, Orlando Magic never won a championship. The Raptors have. The Phoenix Suns have never won a championship. The Raptors have. The Brooklyn Nets have never won a championship. The Raptors have. The LA Clippers have never won a championship. The Raptors have. And in some ways, it's like I can still say this to people like Philly, New York, y'all are on the rise. Sure, y'all are good, but y'all ain't won a championship in forever. Like decades and decades. So we can still talk shit to you even if we're a shitty team because we can just point to that Larry O'Brien and say, yeah, when's the last time you got one of these Knickerbockers? When's the last time you got one of these 76ers? That's right. I can't say it to Boston anymore, though. It was good when I could say that to Boston, too. But Boston went and got theirs last year. So it is what it is. Stargate saying Rich Porco is not a new subscriber. That's Giovanni under another name. It could be. Who knows? In some ways, the shenanigans are fun. You guys get to see me riled up and get a little angry at somebody. It's kind of a fun part of the channel sometimes. Guys are saying Lex stands on business 100%. That's right. That's right. I've got my allegiances. I've got my diligent allegiances, and they're unwavering. I'm sorry. They're just not going to change. I don't care how bad they get. It's not going to change. It never will. Carlos saying, I saw good things from Scotty last night. See, Carlos seeing what I'm seeing. Scotty is taking initiative and aggressiveness to make baskets for himself and go and get them. And the way his action is to get the spots in the lane is fantastic right now. It may be not totally successful and not all the shots are going in, but they're going to go in more and more. And some of them, when they do go in, wow. Doesn't he look like a top level scorer in this league with some of the shots he's making right now? That's what I'm saying, Carlo. You're seeing the same thing I'm seeing right now. That's right. G saying, I think Rich was just venting. And after Lex said his positive comments, he turned it around and even said Lex was impressive for this and donated. Not my channel, but we should allow for chances. You know what, G? You're exactly right, and that's why I hid him. He's back. He's back. He did go into weird Vince Carter tangents and talking about Scotty in some divisive ways, which I don't like, and that's why I kicked him out. But I gave him another chance, just like G said. There you go. Caston, I think it was Wendell Carter Jr., Orlando's starting center, but I'm not sure if they changed their lineup. Wendell Carter was a little bit of a factor last night in some physicality. He did some things pretty good there. Let me do my stars of the game for the other game, the Austin Spurs against the Raptors 905, a big victory, a very good margin too. They kicked their ass 122-85, y'all. And Malachi was out there, y'all. Malachi did play. He tried to do a revenge game to us, guys. I'm not going to lie. Malachi Flynn tried to revenge us. He did really good with points per minute. Malachi had 18 minutes yesterday against the 905, 17 points. So 17 points in 18 minutes. Leading scorer for the Austin Spurs also. Off the bench. Didn't even start. Only 18 minutes. 6 of 11 shooting for Malachi. 1 of 2 from 3. 2 of 3 from free throws. 5 rebounds. 1 assist. 2 steals. 1 block. A -10. Malachi still only got 1 assist and 1 turnover. He's not a point guard. And he's marauding as an NBA player. And, well, there you go. That's Malachi Flynn's a revenge game against the Raptors and the Raptors 905. He can't even do it at that level. And that is what it is. For the 905, my number one star of the game is Jared Rhoden. Jared Rhoden came to us from Charlotte after he lost his two-way because injuries got healed up, and his rights were back to us. He was hurt. He's kind of been playing a couple of games now, kind of getting in the mix, but he really shined yesterday. He got the halftime interview with Lindsey Dunn and also the post-game interview. And that's usually a sign that you're the key guy for the game. 21 points for Jared Rhoden, 8 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. He made his only free throw, 11 rebounds. So he got a double-double, 4 assists, 1 steal, plus 13 in 29 minutes. Yeah, Jared Rhoden really had a coming out game for the 905 of excellence. And he was very poised in his interviews after the game and during the game about like coming back from injury and just really being grateful for the opportunity to play for the 905 right now and the opportunities he's getting on the court. So good job, Jared Rhoden, unsung hero who just rose up. My second star of the game is our young prince, Ulrich. Ulrich came off the bench for 24 minutes. He had his one of his best games so far as a pro last night. 11 points for Ulrich. He was a plus 27, and that's what I'm talking about. He's going to have a factor defensively for our team in a very positive way. He was the highest plus-minus on the 905 yesterday. 5 of 6 from the field. He hit his first 3 in the regular season of the G League. He hit a 3 last night, guys. Shamshay took a 3 and hit it, the only one. He missed his only free throw, though. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 6 blocks. 6 blocks, 11 points, hit a 3. Ulrich Shamshay getting up and down the court, playing really well. Second star of the game. Fantastic stuff. The highest plus-minus for the 905 yesterday. Third star is Toronto's own A.J. Lawson. He's kind of like RJ on the G League level. He's playing and defending that Paramount Fine Food Center like it's his life. Like, that's one of the things we missed last night is maybe that gumption of RJ to compete because he's putting it on for his city. And he is trying his ass off because he knows he's playing for the Raptors, and that is his childhood team. Well, A.J. Lawson's doing that on the lower level in the G League for the 905, and he was protecting the Paramount Fine Food Center last night. And he was out there busting his butt. 7 of 13 for A.J. from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. plus 18 with 18 points in 27 minutes. AJ Lawson, you keep getting after it and showing that hometown pride of playing for your hometown organization, because I can see it. I feel it through you, man. I see that extra effort. I see that extra umption and some of the things you're doing on the court, getting after the loose balls, getting on the boards for second chance, doing all the things you're doing, man. You're doing it right. I appreciate a hometown hero. I really, really do. Fourth star of the game is another hometown hero, Eugene Omoruyi. Omoruyi off the bench last night. He didn't start. 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. I love seeing three-pointers from Eugene. It's not totally common. 4 of 4 at the free throw line, perfect at the line, perfect. 4 rebounds, 5 assists, plus 21 with 21 points in 25 minutes. Great points per minute production by Eugene Omoruyi, another great Canadian on the Raptors 905, showing up and doing things to help us win. The last star of the game only came in for 2 minutes and scored 9 points. That's amazing. They even asked Andrew Jones after the game, when you see something like what Tyler Perry did at the end of the game, are you like not wanting to play him more in the next game? He's like, you're exactly right. Tyler Perry came in for garbage time in the last 2 minutes of the game, and he bombed 3 of 3 from three-pointer and got 9 points in 2 minutes. Isn't that awesome? I love that. He got an assist too, a +7 coming in the game. So I gave him the 5th star just for bombing 3 of 3 from three-point range. Now, how did our J-Rooks do that were assigned to 905 last night? Because you notice I didn't put Battle or Mobo as the stars, any of the 5 stars. Jonathan only got 6 points, and they were all at the free throw line. He was 0 for 2 in his only 2 shots he shot. 3 of 4 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, a +10 in 23 minutes. Jonathan didn't get an overextended grind, but he was out there active and very much helpful in contributing to the winning. He just didn't score a lot himself. So he was doing a lot of the stuff he does on the main level for the Raptors, on the G League level also. Jamison Battle was fine. He could have been one of the stars, but I expect a little bit more from him as a two-way. 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3 also, just like Tyler Perry. 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 11 points for Jamison in 25 minutes. Frank Kaminsky started at center. He was kind of garbage last night, but he helped with rebounding and defensive stuff. 2 of 6. He missed all 4 of his threes. He was very short with those shots. It was really kind of like crazy how short he was. 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 turnovers, a +8 with 4 points. We're expecting more from Kaminsky because he's doing things a certain way. Quincy Guerriere came out for 5 minutes, got 2 rebounds, and that's about it. Didn't score. Tyler Perry already did. Kennedy Chandler, 27 minutes off the bench, 4 of 6 from the field with 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, a +19 with 10 points. He's an honorable mention. Tyreek Key came out and made 1 3 for 3 points in the last 2 minutes. So between him and Tyler Perry, there were 4 of 4 from 3 in the last 2 minutes, making 12 points real quick. And then Charlie Brown, I could have made him a star of the game. He only scored 8 points. He was 3 of 6. But Charlie Brown was a +41 yesterday. And they asked Charlie Brown after the game, is like, have you ever had such a high plus minus? He's like, no, I've never had such a high plus minus. Normally, Charlie Brown's like a -30, but he's like a +41 last night. And that's something that's outstanding to me. He's only 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He hit a couple of really key corner threes at times. But the Spurs were never in this game. The 905 jumped out all over them and just trounced them the whole entire game. Fantastic job by Andrew Jones. They're going to play again today, y'all. Actually, the Raptors 905 will play once again today, and the referee assignment is what time are they playing at, too? The referee crew chief will be Gina Catanzariti. She's back again for this game also, but this time is the crew chief. Cameron Garber is the referee, and Castine Evans is the umpire. Austin, at Raptors 905. What time is the game? I need to look at that real quick just so I can inform you guys so we can go watch it. There is action for us to watch today on a back-to-back with the Austin Spurs. This game will be at 7:30 once again. So regular time for basketball tonight, 7:30. Join me in the YouTube chat watching the Raptors 905 play against Malachi Flynn, the Austin Spurs. Yeah, I'll be in there. Double duty last night. It's difficult. I can't be in the chat talking to you guys during the games when I've got one screen on the 905 and one screen on the Raptors. And I really have to pay attention to both games because they're on at the same time. And I did watch both games at the same time last night, just so y'all know. Talk about my dedication, Rich. I watched the Raptors and the 905 at the exact same time last night. It was crazy. Yeah. Monique saying happy belated birthday to Jack Armstrong and Kayla Gray. Of course, yeah, they're around the New Year's birthdays. Jack Armstrong's birthday yesterday. His birthday is the January the 3rd. And I believe Kayla Gray's is the 2nd. So, yeah, there you go. Smooth Brown Man saying, all due respect, Bleacher Report is not a reputable source, man. But if they're praising a Raptors player, that's surprising. Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, this is not bad propaganda towards us. In some ways, this speaks to the greatness of Masai Ujiri and the deal that getting Kelly Olynyk and Oshai Abaji. If Utah's missing out on Abaji good greatness all of a sudden because he's showing up on our team being better. I think that's a testament to development Darko. Once again, unlocking players like a Jakob Poeltl 9 years into his career. Jakob's been unlocked by Darko. And Popovich and the Spurs couldn't even do that for 5 years, like Darko's done in 2 years of having him. So that's something that people need to point out also. Jakob Poeltl's had a career year this year. And what influence did Darko's coaching have on that is what I'm wondering, man. Yeah. Yeah. Kareem saying Raptors need a rim runner like Gafford or Lively. That's why I want Raptors to select Mulak from Duke. He's 7'2", defensive-minded, who can shoot. He's a blend of Nikola Vucevic and Derek Lively. I liked him. I did the scout on him, the first one of the year 2 days ago for Gerald. And, yeah, I do like this kid. I get a green light for him. He could very well be one of my top 5 picks for Masai. When we get closer to the draft, I will present 5 guys that I absolutely love, and I would like to see them draft, whether it's in the first round and top of the lottery or in the second round in one of our second-round picks. And maybe that's where Mulak goes right there. Yeah, big up the Raptor Freaks. Thank you, Neil. I hope I see you at the Raptors 905 game on January the 19th, Valley Suns. That'd be awesome to see you again, my good friend. Yeah, Wayne saying, realistically, Freaks, the core group has played less than 20 games together. This is the NBA. Time and patience with guys coming from injuries. Sounds like a broken record, but we lack consistency. Yeah. Yeah. This is totally true. I mean, these aren't excuses, just the reality. If people want the autopsy of why the Raptors are a cadaver and dead in the water with their record right now, I can tell you the reasons why. You may not like them. You may think, oh, that's just an excuse. They should be better no matter what. Well, reality is reality. And in some ways, we have to accept it, even if it's not as much winning as we want. Some people are very happy with us losing right now because they do want to be in the capture the flag sweepstakes. So it's going both ways for people. Seymour saying there's no way the league lets us get flagged. I don't even want him, but they will do us dirty like the Iverson draft. Yeah, that was the rules at that time. And that was basically that they made rules that made it hard for Vancouver and Toronto to be good right away. They learned a lesson from Orlando getting to the finals so quickly in their expansion years. The Magic making the finals in 94 is the whole reason why the Raptors had to do this weird thing where they could not get the first pick in the draft, even though they won the ping pong. And they did that year that we got Marcus Camby. We should have picked first and taken Iverson. But the NBA wasn't allowing Vancouver or Toronto to have the ability to have the first pick at that time. The similar things happen with the WNBA expansion is about to happen. Is they're going to be making rules that are going to make it hard for the Toronto Tempo to compete at the same level as established teams already. It's just the way that the NBA works. In some ways, getting through expansion years isn't just learning everything. It's also getting through the bullshit that's harder to get through. Now we are totally open and allowed to have the first pick, and don't think that they'll screw us. If the ping pong balls go right, they probably will still give us the draft. I don't know. I don't want to be the cynical Seymour. I don't want to be the cynical that if we win the capture the flag sweepstakes, we should be able to capture the flag if we want to. That's the other thing. Do we want him or do we want Bailey? That may be part of the argument, or even Harper. Yeah. Blackhawks saying, don't worry, Seymour. The draft is deep this year. I say as long as, like you guys are saying, if we're in the top 7 picks, we're going to get a good quality, talented player that's going to contribute to us being better next year. And that's what I say. The sweet spot is probably 7 and up. And, well, we're definitely in that category of the 7 worst teams of the league right now. So if things go according to how the draft does, if you're really bad, you're going to be in the top 7 picks. And then we'll get a very good player regardless if it's the first one or not. That's something that casuals gloss over. They want us to lose every single game because they just want the number 1 pick. You don't necessarily need the number 1 pick. You need a lottery pick, a high lottery pick. And that may be enough this year. That's what I'm saying right there. I like what Neil's saying. Kaz is saying big facts at Kareem. I want Common and his African roots make him very desirable for Masai. I'm sure he knows him personally already. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, he's been really put on a global stage with the Olympics and the very good success of South Sudan in this cycle of the Olympics. Yeah, there's a shine on that country in particular, and the talent that's coming out of that country. People like Wenyan Gabriel before. Well, this is a guy coming up next, Malak, and we got to see if where he goes and where he's going to get drafted. I think he's a second rounder, though, is what I'm hearing. Blackhawks saying I like Asa Newell. He takes it personal when playing against Malak and Queen. All right, we're gonna have to see. I'll scout him down the road for sure. Let's see. Monique saying I don't want Cooper Flag either. Seymour. Yeah, sometimes it's like overhyped in some ways. I don't know. I have to scout him. I still haven't scouted him. Cass saying W. Milbester, respectful Knicks fan, 100%. We've had respectful Celtics fans. We've had respectful Sixers fans. It's amazing. We've actually found good fans from most of the fan nations on this channel at some points where people come in and they just talk to us and they enjoy the NBA and they're able to be respectful enough of Raptors and they're not like, pissing all over us. And that's why, we have friends that are in other fan nations. We're not totally, I guess we are a clubhouse of Raptors fans, but in some ways we do allow fans of other nations to come hang out with us at times. There's no big deal. Kareem saying, I'm pretty sure Milbester and a few of my cousins are the only things I like about New York. All sports teams can fuck off and give the French back the Statue of Liberty. Nothing liberal about New York. Oh my gosh, Kareem. That's crazy. That's a crazy comment. There's a lot of Jalen Suggs spite in it. Blackhawk said, no, Mo, you ain't like Flag either. Trust me. If we get him or any other top 6 player, we will make good use of them. Okay, so Blackhawk is saying, no, wait, Flag is good. Wait. Cass is saying, I like Flag, Blackhawk, but I don't think we will get the pick to draft him. Common is my number 2, but I will have to check out Asa Newell. But I'm hearing that Common is not going to be at the top of the draft, that he is not getting projected up there. That's the interesting thing. I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe I need to go look at this better. Mo's saying, W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Freak Crew strong forever despite the outcome. Better days, RJ, get healthy. Yes, and yes, Mo, I'm going to give you a dunk for wishing RJ well. It was nice to see him on the bench. I guess he's not like catching, giving it to people. They're going to let him sit on the bench with everybody. 9 dunks from Monique. She's got 3 3-pointers now already. Kareem saying, between Ace Bailey, Cooper, and Harper, Ace is the only one who moves the needle for me, being 6'10". Flag and Harper are more of the same of what we got. We need to address the issues, not to add to them. Yeah. I mean, there's the philosophy to get the most talented player that's available, and maybe that is Cooper Flag, but I don't know. Maybe you draft a little bit for need in that little bit of difference of change of what you really want as well. We need a little bit more size and length. So maybe Ace Bailey, even if we get the first pick in the draft, we don't go Cooper Flag and everybody goes crazy and does a Damon Stoudemire draft day booing or Jalen Suggs booing, and everybody's wrong because Ace Bailey is the right decision in the long run with Bobby Webster and Masai knowing better than the Raptors fan contingency. They may be calling out, Wyatt Flag was the one that everybody said was supposed to be number 1. And the Raptors won number 1 pick, but they didn't pick Flag. Why? If that shit happens, I would be like, I trust Masai. They probably know something better, and there's a better fit for us. And that's why. Yeah, Carlos saying, I like how Cooper is more defense-oriented. Okay, that's something interesting, a little bit of knowledge about him without knowing anything about him. He's a defensive kind of shooter guy. He plays some defense. Okay. Blackhawks saying Magic was without the Wagners, yet they had 3 centers to draw from their bench. We need to draft more centers and bring up Shamshay next season. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the crazy things is like we're pretty full healthy and we look small. That's what's pissing me off right now. Like Kenyon's joke about Vision 6'9" in years past, like in the last year, Basketball Rewind is not off point. I mean, we really do have a turnover from going from a lot of 6'9" long arm guys last year with our trades to a lot of guys that are like Bruce Brown that are like 6'5" and undersized. And that is an issue. And we're healthy mostly without RJ, just RJ missing. And we look small out there. And that is a problem. Magic, lose some players, and they don't have any size deficiency still. They have good size coming in still. That is a good point right there. Neil's saying also Grizzlies is 5 deep with centers. All we need to do is draft the Ivovich brothers and develop them as our centers of the future behind Shamshay. That'd be fun to have brothers on our team, like the Sedines for the Canucks. Yeah, that'd be fun. Carlos saying it's probably piece by piece process. We got skill now with Grady and Jacoby. Next would be size and length. That may be very well true. Yeah, I could see that. I hope that that's true. I hope that Bobby Masai have that on their wish list for the coming draft this year coming up. Yeah, I hope they do. I really do. Let's see. Kaz is saying at Blackhawk, I heard of those brothers. What pick range do you think they will land? We'll have to find out. And Blackhawk saying, Kaz, Newell understands that Malak and Queen stand between him being a high draft pick. Experience-wise, I would go Newell and Queen. Interesting. Well, I'm going to have to suss them out. I've seen Malak, and now I've seen Igor. I have to see more of these prospects. Bring them to me on even days of the month. Bring them to me. So I'll do the next one on Monday. Tomorrow's will be a special report because we have 2 days off. Sunday special report. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. Is there any subject that you guys want to talk about tomorrow in particular and go deep on? Maybe you guys can give me a suggestion before the end of the stream, and I'll actually make your suggestion the stream for tomorrow. There's a lot of different stuff I could cover that could be a special report. As far as like, there's a really crazy rashes of injuries lately in the NBA, really serious injuries, including that Jalen Suggs injury last night with Jaden Ivey and stuff like that. I could look at something with injuries, or I could look at, things about controversies in the league with, kind of like, there's a feud between Charles Barkley and JJ Redick right now, which is kind of interesting. There's a couple of different things. What do you guys want me to do this special report on tomorrow? If you have any ideas, go ahead and write it in. I might use it, so I might be able to do that. Yeah. Let's keep going. Slug DZ saying L to the medical staff. Why would you allow someone with a back injury to be picked up? Shaking my head. Where's the stretcher? Yeah, that's weird too. I thought that, like, if he messed up his spinal cord and he has any kind of paralysis, which was kind of what it looked like, he wrenched his back in a weird way. Maybe he had a disc rupture or something like that. I don't know. You're exactly right. If there's any kind of that kind of injury, you got to set his back and his neck and his spinal column and put him on a board and take him out on a stretcher. It was a weird, like, maybe they asked him what he wanted and he said, "Oh, give me a wheelchair. Give me a wheelchair." So they brought him a wheelchair. I don't know. I was questioning about that too when I was looking at that. Blackhawk saying Ivicic brothers are mid-second round picks right now. There you go. They can shoot, and they are 7-footers. Okay, so very gettable. Okay, yeah. Hey, listen, it doesn't have to be supreme talent centers. We just want guys who can get up and down the court. They're rim runners and can block shots and rebound. And if they have a three-point shot, that's great. But to me, that's not always necessary. To me, at least, a lot of young fans that think it's always necessary to have a three-point shot, no matter what. Blackhawk saying Queen is successful because he is a big body that has no matchups on the floor. It's like OG and Embiid put in one player. He has a jump shot. Ooh, I'm going to have to see this stuff. I'm all about it. I'm going to see these guys. You guys are getting me excited to scout more right now. Kaz is saying, it's all good, Lex. I think my comment wasn't posted due to slow mode, and I didn't notice. Yeah, it probably was slow mode. If you had already posted something for 2 minutes, yeah, that may have been it. If you want to put the Pat Delaney comment in still, I'll read it. Let's see. Addy Bashir Jr. is nice. I'm sure I'll scout him at some point coming up. Blackhawk saying definitely detailed. Use our first-round pick for our best player and use our second-round pick for a center. Yeah, I like that. Get the best talent with the high pick and then fill in those needs in your roster in the second round. Yeah, definitely gettable. Definitely gettable. There's a classic card answer, so I see where I'm at. Let's see what else you guys are saying, and we'll get done with the chat soon enough. I haven't seen Abdi. I haven't seen him either. Seymour saying Bashir is a sure bucket getter. Okay. What is he, 6'5", 6'6"? G saying it looked like a herniated disc to me with Suggs. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me too. Because he wasn't able to use his leg very well. It's like it tightened up right away. It's crazy. Seymour saying, I'd say on paper 6'6", actually 6'5". Okay. Carlos saying, I think things are clicking for Barnes. They're not successful yet, but the things that are clicking in his head is what he could do and trying to do it. Before, he could have done this, but he wasn't registering it. Now he's doing it. And in some ways, maybe it took having a Siakam and Fred and OG out of the way that he realizes the responsibility to carry the team. In some ways, you're the franchise face. You need to do it, Scotty. You need to do it. And at least he's trying, if not totally succeeding, he's trying right now. And this is a new energy from him. And that's what I like. Stargate saying, I'll say one thing about Cooper Flagg. He does rebound and block shots, at least, unlike Ace, who just seems to be all about scoring. Okay. I'll have to, I have to find out about these guys. Kaz is saying, Lex, where do you buy your basketball cards? I've been trying to find the Panini Mosaic cards you suggested, but they seem to be sold out everywhere near me. Well, that's a sign right there. I don't know. I mean, I would say this. If you're trying to find them in a store near you, that may not be the way to do it. You can order stuff online. I would go and buy them directly from Mosaic and get them delivered to you if you can, because that may be the easiest way for you to find them. If you're trying to go to stores and they're calling people and they say, no, we're all sold out, that's a good sign that people like them and they're buying them up. And maybe they're not as common. So I would say maybe your best bet is to call. Now, I didn't buy these cards. My niece and nephew went and bought them and gave them to me for Christmas. So I have no idea where they picked these up. These are hoops cards, though. They're kind of nice. Like, this set is actually pretty nice. I like the updated hoops from last year. So I don't know, man. That's what I would say. I know we've been talking about this a bit because you've been interested in collecting. Yeah, the Mosaic stuff is awesome. It's just that you may need to order through the online and get it delivered directly. Yeah, Blackhawks saying, when I look at these draft picks, they look good, but but they are not going up against NBA big bodies. That's what I'm saying. When I watch the college clips, I am really kind of trying to gauge them successfully, or like with the idea of the faster, bigger league of the NBA. And that's part of the reason why I missed on Grady. Is when I watched Grady 2 years ago before the draft, I said, no, don't draft this guy. He can't be strong enough or fast enough to do the NBA, but I was wrong. In some ways, Grady has weird Larry Bird stuff where he can play at his own speed and not be absolutely the fastest guy and be absolutely effective in the NBA speed. It's weird. It's very, very weird. Some players are just like that. What's his name? Lee Kyer for he was Minnesota, but I don't know where he is now. He could be in Golden State or something. Lee Kyer, Kyle Alexander, Kyle Anderson is what his name. He played for China. They call him slow mo because he just plays at a pace that he wants to play at, and he doesn't let anybody else dictate it. Well, that's what I missed on Grady. I thought that he would be too weak and he wouldn't translate to the NBA, and I was so wrong. So wrong. So my scouts aren't always exactly right, and they were wrong about Grady. My first impression about him, that's for sure. Blackhawks saying Shamshay had 5 to 6 blocks yesterday. That's our future. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, he's real solid, and he's playing really well off his teammates now, doing a lot more pick and roll actions and looking for a shot a little bit more recently than he did most of the season so far. He's really come along slowly, and they weren't trying to feed him the ball in any kind of way, but now they're looking for him, and that's what's very interesting about watching 905 games right now is Shamshay is getting sought out to make baskets for the Raptors 905. So watch tonight, 7:30, and see more of it. That's what I'm saying. Cass saying big fucking W for Prince Shamshay. His game last night really shows his potential. He had a huge impact in helping the 905 win last night. They killed it yesterday. That's right. G saying, why do you think Boucher didn't play? Well, Darko has a standard 10-man rotation, and he had his starting 5, which has been pretty – he has a hierarchy with the starting 5, obviously. And it's obviously Barbecue for sure and Yak for sure. Grady is almost for sure. If he's healthy, he's going to start. And then after that, it's kind of like Oshai is the next starter replacement, which he was for RJ last night. If RJ had been healthy last night, he would have started. Oshai would have been off the bench. But everybody gets bumped down. And the decision for him to play the 5 players off the bench last night was to play Shed and Mitchell, which I don't mind because in some ways they are very defensive-oriented point of attack guards that do a lot of great stuff for us. Bruce Brown, which is maybe the person I would have subbed out. I don't care if Bruce is healthy, although we do need to showcase him and we're going to move him. But I would have loved Chris to get the minutes from Bruce instead, honestly. Jacoby's got to play. Jacoby's got to continue to get minutes every single game like he did last night. Kelly is a very good backup, and I have no problem with him coming off the bench and getting minutes in the rotation either. I think if you made the decision differently, in some ways you got to play Bruce because you're trying to trade him. But if you could have not played Bruce and played Chris instead, I would have done that. But in some ways, it is what it is. They got to play Bruce because they got to try and trade him right now. I think that's it. He's just an odd man out. And Chris has been okay with this. He understands his role on the team right now. His fans get more upset about it than he does, honestly. Chris getting a DMP is no sweat to him. He's getting paid no matter what. And he's just ready. That's an NBA professional. That's a guy who's on the fringe of cusp of the rotation. And most nights he is in the rotation. But on an odd night, he may not be, like last night. Is kind of how it is. Stargate saying, looks like that talk Ulrich had with Jakob the other night after the Nets game paid off. Probably. I mean, he's gleaning information from all kinds of different people. Mike Batiste is probably very helpful towards him also. The big man, Bulldozer Batiste. Andrew Jones is a big man himself, his own coach. In the middle of the game last night, I saw him taking Ulrich to the side and really giving him some good counsel and coaching. So there's a lot of different people having an influence on him. And he's probably hearing it from Garrett Temple, too, in certain ways, even if it's not totally big man stuff. Kaz is saying, now that most of our rookies are assigned to the G League and we picked up Lawson, Kaminsky, and Roden, I think we'll start cooking now. Yeah, I think that the 905 blowout last night is a good sign because in an organization in the NBA, the wave of progress and good things comes from the G League. And that happened for our championship core to get to the championship. We won a championship in the G League with Fred and them earlier. And in some ways, the blowout win last night, the excellence of the 905 is the start of the wave I've been waiting to see. And that's why I've been so frustrated with Eric Curry and also the start of the Raptors 905 this season with the Spotlight Cup that they had. They failed miserably and lost a lot. Now, a lot of their talent was stolen to the main roster of the Raptors because we needed them up there. But if we'd had Mobo and Battle down there for most of the early part of the season for G League, maybe they had a totally different record in the Showcase Cup. But it's flipped over. There's a new season, and they're 2-1 already in their regular season now. So that's a good sign that the Raptors 905 are starting to win more because that wave of progress and development from that level will come up into the Raptors in the years to come and help us up there too. That's why I'm looking for the success on the G League level because I want to see that wave coming up. That's right. Blackhawks saying Darko didn't want to play him with IQ being back. Yeah, I don't know if Chris not playing has anything to do with IQ. It may have more to do with Bruce and Bruce being available to play. IQ kind of steals minutes from the guards, obviously. And I think Bruce kind of took the minutes from Chris. I mean, you could say maybe Kelly did too. Kelly, I mean, that may be part of the option. Is Darko going to go with Kelly or Bruce? I mean, Kelly or Chris on certain nights. That may be part of it. Most saying, gee, I think it was just a DMP for Chris. It's just a certain night. It could very well be that he's going to play against Milwaukee. And, that may be just where he is. He's semi-rotation. Some nights he won't get in, but a lot of nights he will. I think that's where he's at right now. Cass saying, normally Charlie Brown is a minus 30. Laugh my ass off. I know. That was why it's such an aberration, Trucker Cass. I know that you've been in the 905 very consistently in the chats, and I appreciate you for that. In fact, I'm going to give you a dunk, Cass, for putting your time in, whether it's on the channel with me in the morning or putting your time in with the 905 on the chats. Man, you've been so solid in that way this whole entire year so far with that. Where is Kaz on here? Where's Trucker Kaz? Here he is. He's right there. We're going to give you your first dunk of the year right there. Boom goes the dynamite. There you go. Yeah, it's funny. He is normally like a minus 30, and last night he was a plus 41. It's like, wow, Charlie Brown. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, Lucy wasn't around. Lucy Van Pelt. Yeah. Smooth saying San Antonio could really benefit from having Chris Boucher. Maybe Zach Collins for Chris. Raptors get a 5. The Spurs get a rim runner. I don't mind that. I know Spurs fans have been complaining about Zach Collins. They hate him right now. They want him off the team. I'm in a Spurs fan group because I am a Spurs fan on the Western Conference. And I monitor what they're saying about what's going on in their fan nation a little bit more than the other NBA teams. And yeah, they're very off on Collins. They do want to move him. And I don't know, Chris may fit some of the needs that they need too. You might be exactly right here, Reggie. Yeah, Zach is locked in for another year after this. I mean, he may not be that much better than Bruno Fernando, but it's just another body, another 6 fouls. And he has a 3. That's the other thing I remember about Collins. He does have somewhat of a 3, right? Smooth saying Juju Watkins is in Toronto. What? Juju Watkins is in Toronto? What? Her draft year is Tempo's first year, right? I have no idea. I have no idea. I thought she was next year. If she's next year, no, we're going to be too late. We're not coming in next year. We're coming in the year after. We're this year. I guess I should say this year. We're not coming in this year. We won't be playing this year. We'll be in the draft at the end of this year. There'll be one more draft that we're not involved in that's before this G League, this WNBA season, and then we'll be in the next draft. We're not going to have players for our WNBA team until next December when we get an expansion draft, and then we'll be in the first draft that we'll be in for the WNBA will be 2026. So not this year. So if Juju's coming out this year, we're not going to get her. But if Juju's coming out next year, that is somebody that may be available. But once again, there's rules against the Tempo getting the top pick in the draft. I think the highest we can get is the 3rd pick. And if Juju Watkins is projected to be number 1 or number 2, we're not going to get Juju Watkins. Yeah. G Stan Smooth. Apparently, they don't give first picks to the expansion team, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, exactly what I just said there. Seymour saying, if Tempo get Juju, I'm getting that jersey ASAP. There you go. And Smooth saying, that's unfair. That sucks. Yeah, I mean, that's just how they have rules for expansion teams. They won't penalize them, not let them be good too early. In some ways, it's partly because they don't want a big, huge, talented, possible name that's a marketable name like Juju Watkins going to a team that may be mired and losing a lot early on and that kind of get wasted. In some ways, that's part of the reason why they directed Victor Wembanyama to the Spurs instead of the Rockets, because there was no guarantee that the Rockets would handle Victor in the proper way to get him somewhere towards winning. And the Spurs have a proven track record of getting back to winning and doing things right with development. So that was really important. In some ways, you got to understand some of these players are commodities like Caitlin Clark and Juju Watkins. And the league is actually thinking about their place and their fit and how they would do as far as like growing, because they don't want to drop the ball and have a great talent like Juju Watkins sadly go to a team like the Tempo who possibly may be losing a lot in their first initial years. Does that make sense what I just said? Even if it's unfair, I get it. Smooth saying, I was thinking about the Rockets and Jimmy Butler. There is a clean trade that gets him in a Rockets uniform. Salaries match. Fred VanVleet for Jimmy Butler. That's crazy. I mean, I'd wonder what Rockets fans would think about that. You know, maybe Reed Shepherd's ready. I don't know. Maybe Thompson's going to be the point guard. I don't know. In some ways, I don't know if Udoka would like this at all. The coach may be very much like nixing that as far as like, this is a trade I do not want to happen. I don't know. That's a weird thought exercise, what you just gave me. Jimmy for Fred. And Fred on Miami? That's so weird, man. That's so weird, man. Yeah. G saying, yes, apparently the Valkyries will be getting pick 5. Yeah, they're not allowed to pick any higher. Now, the Valkyries got a special condition that they were the only team in the expansion draft this year. So they just basically got to pick the 6th best player from every single team in the league, which kind of sucks because that's not what's going to happen for us next year. We will have to pick at the same time as Portland, and we'll be picking back and forth. So in some ways, it's like, yeah, Valkyries are already got a leg up, and it's unfortunately unfair and an advantage for them, even if they can't pick higher than 6 or 5. Smooth saying, very risky deal, and the Reed Shepherd becoming the lead guard. For Miami, it gives them flexibility. Fred's 3rd year is a team option. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know about this. I know that you're a classic Houston fan, and that would be an intriguing one. I don't know, man. I don't even want to go near this one. It's a weird thought, though. Miami getting Fred and Houston getting Jimmy. How does that work even? Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know if that'll work. I mean, I probably would work a trade like money-wise, like you're saying, but I don't know how that works with what it does for the different teams. It's interesting. It's an interesting thought exercise. Kaz is saying, Lex, Common Malak is projected to go top 10 in the draft at the moment. Okay, so he's a top 10. He's not a later guy. Okay, I was confused. I was probably getting him mixed up with the Ivisic brothers that you guys kept mentioning too. Okay, so he's a top 10. He would be somebody we'd have to get in the top. Okay, thank you for clearing that up, because honestly, I am very dumb on this subject, and you guys are my teachers on this stuff. Seymour saying, Golden State put up Wiggins and 4 other players for Jimmy in an offer. That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, I could see that. That could be a good place for him to land, is Golden State. And especially if Golden State's going to give up the good kind of young stuff for Miami that they want. That is actually sounds like a really good trade partner. Golden State Warriors with Miami. Yeah. Monique saying you want the injuries topic? It's okay. So you want to talk about how there's more prevalence in injuries in the league right now and what causes that and what can the NBA do to kind of fix this? Maybe we could do that. Oh, all right, Mo, you're a good producer for this channel. I'll I'll very, very strongly figure out the specifics of that topic and make that this the super Sunday special report tomorrow. Trevor's saying Jimmy Bucket said he won't back he wants back his joy, and now he gets suspended 7 games. Things are getting ugly in Miami. Yeah, they're not messing around. It's weird that this didn't have to happen. In some ways, Pat Riley hates this shit because in some ways it's their business out in public on blast, and it's kind of humiliating and not really like right. Jimmy's kind of wrong for this, honestly. In some ways, Miami's probably been very good to him, but what went wrong to the point where he's lost all joy in playing for Miami right now? Like, what happened? Seriously, did somebody get in an argument or something, or is there some sort of problems or some issues? There's got to be maybe somebody on the team that Jimmy just doesn't want to be around. Is it his coach? Is it a teammate? There's something weird. Really went south fast there, and I don't know if suspending him is the right kind of thing. The Players Association is coming at Pat Riley in the Heat now with a suit, a unfair suspension suit, which is very, very interesting. Most saying Jaden Ivey's injury is super sad. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I have some theories on why injuries are up, and I'll save them for tomorrow. We're going to do this Sunday special report. Injuries in the NBA. Why do they happen so much now? And what is going on? Are they happening more than ever? I don't know. Are they? Or are they just more talked about than ever? Is that part of it? Maybe that's a little preview for tomorrow. We'll have to talk about it. Smooth saying Seymour, Pape. Yeah, Butler's contract is prohibitive. To get him, in most cases, you have to gut your team. Man, this is like Kawhi's league. He started this bullshit, and it's so stupid. And we've seen James Harden do it. We've seen Ben Simmons do it. We've seen different guys do this holdout, or I'm just not going to be around, or demanding a trade. Dame Lillard, and it's just not good look for the league. I understand player freedom and the ability to choose who they play for and what they want, and that kind of mentality. But in some ways, y'all are kind of out of control with this. Jimmy, your history with teams in Minnesota and different things and what happened, it's kind of weird that you're doing this all of a sudden. In some ways, I kind of, you know what, Jimmy, I lost a little bit of respect for you because of this. Because in some ways, look, it's the Miami Heat. A lot of people would covet being on the Heat because of the temperature and the feel of the Heat culture and stuff like that. And you don't even care about it. You hate it that much. What's wrong with you, bro? Seriously, it's weird. Because in some ways, you just demanding yourself off of the Miami Heat, which is really kind of a coveted team most people want to be on, is just really speaks to the privilege and kind of the spoiledness of the players in some ways and what they're trying to do. You just lost your joy. Okay, Shawn Michaels, lost your smile. Bullshit. Get your smile back. You get paid millions of dollars and you play in the NBA. Get your act together. And in some ways, I'm kind of with Jack and Matt in the broadcast last night saying, Jimmy Butler, you're an idiot. And in some ways, you need to honor a contract that you're getting paid by Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. And this kind of bullshit needs to stop. The league just needs to stop this kind of crap. I get it. If things are really acrimonious in a bad place where things are so fractured, people have to be moved. But this kind of stuff is getting out of control, and it's stupid. And if it can happen to a team like the Miami Heat, well, fuck. Of course it's going to happen to the Raptors in their 30 years like this. Kenny Anderson, Alonzo Mourning, B.J. Armstrong, and other players on the download that said they didn't want to play in Toronto and didn't come here. It's bullshit, man. In some ways, that it's annoying. Let's see. Cass saying, all I said was Pat Delaney needs to go. He's always on losing teams. You know what? I'm going to give you a dunk for that. That's hilarious. You get in another dunk. Man, Cass starting strong today on the year. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's funny. That's true. Pat Delaney was on the Hornets and the Wizards for most of his career, and they were really bad teams. Man, I don't want to believe what you're saying. But it's funny. I mean, in some ways, you're exactly right. G saying Riley might send Butler to Detroit at this point. Also, I feel the league will give the Bulls flag to get them back to their glory days. Yes, I believe they leave manipulations, some picks. The league does manipulate some picks. Yeah, Patrick Ewing, Wembayama, those were manipulations for sure. Um, That'd be weird if they send him to Detroit. That's a weird place. I mean, he might actually make Detroit really good, and they actually may do something crazy. He'd be reunited with Tobias Harris, which would be interesting because that was the guy who they picked over him. Tobias Harris over me? Tobias Harris over me? He'd be playing with Tobias if he's in Detroit. That's crazy. That's kind of a crazy thought exercise on that one, man. Seriously. I can see what you're saying about Cooper Flag in Chicago too, G. I could totally see what you're saying. Smooth saying, but that Houston trade is clean though, 1-for-1. Both teams win, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Freddie wins though. Although Freddie, Freddie's been building something there, and he really likes being in Houston. I can tell. I don't know. Maybe he'd be happy to go to Miami and feel that feel of that team down there and be with Spoelstra. I don't know. This is a weird trade. In some ways, I'm very touchy about Freddie. And in some ways, I want what's best for Fred in this situation. I don't care about Jimmy. I don't care about the Rockets. I don't care about the Miami Heat. I want what's best for Fred and by extension, his children also. So in some ways, that's what I would think about with that. I don't know. I don't know. Wayne's saying Raptors have the potential with healthy bodies to win most of the games against Atlantic rivals. We can make a play and run. I have had back spasms. 1 week in bed. NBA doctors won. Tighten him. Okay, there you go. So it's a good prognosis from Wayne for Jalen Suggs' injury yesterday. And yeah, I agree with this. Our schedule's way better, but are we a broken team at this point that's too far behind and catching up with the other teams and gelling to be a good enough team to play good enough team basketball against other teams? We'll have to see. Hopefully we can be better and get quicker, faster, especially if RJ's back for the next game. We'll have to see. So he's saying, I know Ime Udoka probably won't go for it, though. Fred is his guy. Yeah, that's the big thing right there. And in some ways, he had a lot of power in getting Fred there because they asked him, do you want James Harden or Fred? And he chose Fred over James Harden. And Houston fans need to realize that y'all had the choice to reacquire James Harden and come back there instead of him going to the Clippers. And no, MA said, I don't want James Harden. I want Fred VanVleet. And they invested a lot of money in Fred that summer instead of James Harden. So we got to realize that the coach is very much signed off that Fred is his guy. Fred is his guy. Seymour saying Boucher and Brown for Jimmy. Laugh out loud. Imagine. Laugh out loud. Or no. That money actually matches up, doesn't it? You said that because it does match up, right? Because Bruce is like 17 mil and Chris is like 12. So that would be like around almost 30 million. I'd love that trade. I'd do that one. I would do that one. I would do that one. Even though Jimmy Butler's not on the same timeline as us and it doesn't make any sense, I'd actually do that one. Because in some ways, the factors of what Jimmy would bring us and add to things, I don't know. It may cloud things too. It may make things all weird with RJ and Scotty having Jimmy here all of a sudden and him trying to be alpha and doing certain things, maybe stepping on toes. I don't know. I worry about that too. As far as fit, DeJounte Murray didn't fit with Trae Young. Would Jimmy Butler fit with RJ Barrett is what I'd ask you. Yeah, that's what I would wonder. So he's saying Houston would have to include draft compensation as well, but adding Jimmy Butler, a closer, as much as I love Fred, Rockets front office have to give this serious consideration. Well, we'll just have to see. And once again, Miami's very much on the record saying they're not trying to help Jimmy with his request, that they don't give a shit about what he wants. So it may not happen, guys. G saying, whenever someone has a very bad back issue, you never, ever more move them around. You can cause further damage. A stretcher should have been used to be safe. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing there with him. In some ways, they should be smarter about it. They should be smarter about it for sure. It's crazy having all these games, and maybe what we'll talk about is often in games, we'll see a guy just laying on the court and not moving, and the game just keeps playing, and we're like playing 4-on-5. And, people just keep playing, and the officials don't call timeouts right away. There can be like a couple of plays down the court, and the guy's still just laying there, and nobody's caring. I've wondered about that recently in the NBA. I guess guys could fake and mess up the game flow by being down there like that, and they have to just play until the next dead ball, and the officials timeout help get this guy off the court. I mean, I wonder about that sometimes. It's crazy. Most saying, what's 905's record? Been crazy busy. Yeah, let's go look at it right now. In the new season, the new regular season of the G League, we have played 3 games, and we're 2-1, Monique. We lost that overtime game just barely in the first game of the season against Birmingham Squadron, but we won 2 in a row against Osceola Magic and Austin Spurs. And hopefully we'll be 3-1 tonight after we beat the Austin Spurs and Malachi Flint once again. Yeah, so there you go. There you go. There you go. Seymour saying Haley Van Lythe will put some hot cream on her man's back. Get well soon, Suggs. Talking about his girlfriend. Yeah, okay. Guys saying my first ever dunk. There you go. I like that. Did I do the Instagram stories yet? No, I didn't do them. I'm going to do them right now. Matt Devlin's got the highlight of Scotty Barnes lobbing the ball in with the 3 instead of giving it to Baji. That's interesting. What else? There he is pregame with Jack and the Raptors lurking behind them. And he brought Jack a birthday cake. The Raptors celebrating Jack Armstrong's birthday. Vote the Raptors 905 into the G League up next game. These guys are available to be voted for. Everybody who's getting voted for this right now is Memphis Hustle. It's like their fan base is activated and voting like crazy because almost all the players that are on the G League up next roster that are winning in the votes are for Memphis Hustle. So Raptors 905 fans, let's get in there and start voting our guys into the All-Star game for the G League right away. We're kind of behind and we need to catch up, and we need to help Prince Shamshay and other guys on the team get there. That's right. There's highlights from Shamshay and the workout before the game against the Austin Spurs last night. And there's Jonathan Mobo putting up threes, getting ready for the game too. The starting lineup was A.J. Lawson, Jarrett Roden, Jamison Battle, Jonathan Mobo, and Frank Kaminsky. And a good job jumping out on top of them, 34-21 after the first quarter. They were up by almost 20 at halftime, and they didn't look back. They beat them by like almost 40 points by the end of the game. Fantastic stuff by 905. A joy to watch last night, even if the Raptors game was tough. Kareem was jumping into the 905 chat saying, I can't watch the Raptors right now. I'm going to watch the 905 instead because they're doing way better. There's Emmanuel Quickly on the Raptors official with a young relative of his putting the chain around his neck, and he's going to give it back to her and put it back on her neck. That's so cute. It's so nice to see family ties with Emmanuel Quickly on the sidelines of the game. Of course, we see Garrett Temple and his family at the sidelines also, seeing him right before the game also. Yeah, Raptors, disappointing game. You got in a hole you can never get out of because of the great three-point shooting of the Magic, and it is what it is, a lesson, and you got to do more to win. Jamal Shed coming in the game with his little pink rookie bag in the hallway in the back. Toronto Tempo Prez. Teresa Resch has dropped a year at a glance post, which has a whole list of things the Toronto Tempo have to do for this year. Merchandise launch, mascot reveal, announce our founding partners, which are the business partners, announce our GM and head coach, fan festivals across the country, tickets go on sale, merchandise pop-up shops, All-Star 2025, the expansion draft, court unveiling, jersey unveiling, community partnerships, and the 2026 schedule release. This is the itinerary for the Toronto Tempo WNBA franchise in their year of building into what they're going to be. And that's all their to-do list for this year. And it'll be exciting to see all these points. And we'll be covering it very extensively here on the Raptor Freak channel. I'll be a Tempo freak also, guys, just so y'all know. There's some Tempo gear given to the youth in the community. They had a little layup basketball event, and they're actually giving Tempo shirts to these young kids that were playing at it. Really, really, really cool stuff with that. I'm excited to see the mascot and the jersey and the court and all that kind of stuff. Jamal McGlure is imploring people to vote for Scotty on a triple vote day. Scotty Barnes for All-Star. Y'all get your NBA All-Star votes in regularly. And here we go. Davion Mitchell's asking 21 hours ago, anybody want to play some Undisputed? Anybody? Bueller? Was anybody want to play Undisputed with Davion? I don't know. There's your Instagram stories real quick right at the end there. Cass got his first dunk. Well, according to my records, you actually had 5 dunks from last year, and you are now at 6. You've already surpassed your dunks from last year. That's amazing that you didn't get more dunks. That's crazy, Trucker Cass. You've been such a regular in the last 6 months. Well, you're going to get more dunks this year. I can tell. You're in development. You're on your way up. That's right. Salute to Cass. Smooth saying, I think that Butler trade will happen during his suspension. You know, that is kind of what it seems like. He may be so toxic
that Eric and Pat have decided they don't want Jimmy around the team, and that's why they suspended him for 7 games, and they're going to try and move him in that time and just get him their hands clean of him before he taints the rest of the team and brings them down with what's going on. We know Jimmy's outspoken. We know he attacked his Timberwolves teammates on his way out from that team, and it could very well be that he's writing some checks with his mouth right now that is toxic and not necessary and not wanted by Pat Riley.
So that may be very true, what you're just saying. I think that that's right. Trevor J saying he gets suspended, saying that he will take trade offers.
Well, that's the thing. Listen, he's obviously doing more than just what's out publicly. There's probably behind the closed doors kind of things that he's saying that is absolutely like Pat Riley's like, I hate him. I get him out of here kind of stuff, which is crazy because just this week I was saying Jimmy Butler is heat culture. And if you get rid of him on that team, you lose heat culture because that's just damn truth right there. That's what it is. Blackhawks saying that Jimmy got suspended because he said he couldn't get his joy in Miami. Jimmy was wrong. He tried to argue his case through public opinion. Totally unprofessional. Yeah, it just puts him in a category with James Harden that honestly, you didn't need to do that. You were such a stand-up guy. You were in a category with DeMar DeRozan as a longtime vet that I very much respected and just kind of does his business and doesn't cause waves like this. Well, Jimmy, you've changed things. Just like Dame Lillard, I've added some disappointment in you because of the way Lillard handled his exit with Portland. This is a very similar messy, like strong arm kind of situation and totally unnecessary. And in some ways, the Miami Heat didn't deserve this from you. I'll even say that. I don't like the Miami Heat. I'm not a fan of theirs. But in some ways, they didn't deserve you going toxic asset all of a sudden in the middle of the season like you did right now. I mean, seriously, Jimmy, maybe you're upset because they didn't move you last summer or something and you're still around there. And that's why you need to listen to guys maybe and work with them and get them out when they want to get out, because if they hang around, they spoil like milk, just like Jimmy's doing right now. Totally unprofessional. Wayne saying Florida's crazy red state now. Family and friends down there. Take away the weather. Too many MAGA. Having been somebody who grew up in Florida and understand it from the inside out, I really know Florida really well. And it is true that Florida, since the days of Bob Graham, who was the governor of Florida when I was a kid, he was awesome. He was amazing. He was a Democratic governor. The state of Florida was run. But over time since then, the Republican Party has had a strategic way of taking over that state. And in some ways, they're cheating. They're not. It's a corrupted state. The Republican Party's grasp on the state of Florida has been very calculated and very, very dishonest. And it's sad that it's gotten to this point, that it's like this. And yeah, you're exactly right. I have good friends that I went to high school with that live down there that really seriously want to get out of that state at this point, that they're really worried in this coming year with what's happening politically in the United States, that Florida in particular will become like a really ugly, like messed up place for some of the Project 2025 shit that may be happening.
So yeah, I can get behind this. Having firsthand experience living half my life in that state, I know it very, very well. And it's been totally manipulated and strangleholded by the Republican Party there in unfair, really fucked up gerrymandering ways. Yeah, they're holding that power. Rick Scott is a really, really big douchey person. So is Marco Rubio. And they are absolute cancers on that state and the people of Florida. They are not helpful people to the people there. They are not. Smith saying, after this, I can't see him ever playing for Miami again. Remember, he and Kyle are best friends. He saw how Kyle was treated in Miami. Maybe that has something to do with it. That is an interesting point, that maybe Jimmy in some ways is like, yeah, they're going to screw me over like they screwed Kyle over. And I don't want to wait around for it. I don't know. There's something really wrong. I think that Jimmy just understands the clock's ticking on his career, and he sees that the Miami Heat are not going in the right direction right now, going up. They're kind of downgrading and getting worse in the last couple of years, and he's feeling it. And in some ways, that makes you kind of panic and get jaded about like playing for that team because they're not moving in the right direction, and you're just getting older, and the time is running out for your career. So I could see that. I could see that being part of it. That actually right there. Yeah. Smooth saying those Heat people were absolutely vicious against Kyle, man. Very hateful, actually. Yeah, they're douchey people. I went to university at Florida State, and there were tons of Miami Heat fans that I was in college with, and they were all absolute douchebags. Honestly, very, very douchey people, the Heat fans overall. Very, very, very douchey. Trust me.
I've interacted with them in real life when I lived in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, very douchey. And they're very toxic and venomous and just ugly. They'll say some reprehensible things that nobody should be saying, especially a player that came to their team and played their heart out for them, like Kyle Lowry. Well, he's a GOAT for the Raptors. He doesn't have to be beloved by Heat Nation. And in some ways, thank you for that trade. We got Precious in that trade for a little while. And it was, you know what? I'd make that trade still because that trade was, we got something for our guy and we sent our guy somewhere we wanted to be. And well, he didn't want to be there after a while. That was for sure. Yeah. G saying, so Riley in public said, Jimmy, keep your mouth shut. And it went south after that. It didn't have to be like this. This is totally not Miami Heat kind of stuff because they're usually in-house kind of things. And this is totally off script. And I'm sure Spoelstra is absolutely despises this situation right now. Absolutely despises it. It's so bad. Their whole season's fucked now. Seriously. And in some ways, Jimmy is the one who made it fucked because of this. Kaz is saying, W Stream, W Raptor Free Crew, W Raptors. Let's go. That's right, Kaz. That's right. You're a real one. This guy's a real one for the Raptors in the right kind of way. I like it. Blackhawk saying, send Butler to Toronto and we can reroute him for picks. I don't mind that if we can do some fun stuff. I'm all about that. That's right. I'm all about that. Yeah. Seymour saying, if he ends up in Dallas, they can run with Boston. That's an interesting trio. Kyrie, Luka, and Jimmy. But what would Dallas have to give up to get Jimmy there? Would it be a Kyrie Irving? That's a crazy thing. I mean, Kyrie would be totally welcomed in Miami. That's for sure. Totally welcome there. That's an interesting idea. If they can keep that three together, although Luka's injury this season is going to mess them up with their record and going into the playoffs. This Luka Doncic injury is not good for Dallas. Not at all right now. Yeah. So he's saying Seymour Pape. Dallas has to trade all their depth, though. That's probably true. And realistically, to get Butler to a preferred market other than Houston, it will take some crazy four-way trade. That's why I was saying. And Pat Riley don't want to do the work, Jimmy. You should have just shut up and let him just do what he's going to do. I don't know. Either way, Jimmy Butler, you're wrong for this. I don't care if the time's running out. You've had a long career. You've been gloriously lucky to play in the NBA for as long and work hard and do what you do. Well, in some ways, this is the NBA. You're not going to get things just handed to you. I know the clock is ticking. You want to win an NBA championship because you've never won one. And in some ways, you really, really want one. I know that's what it is. I know that's exactly what it is right now. All right, I got to the end of the chat, and I'm just under 3 hours. So I'm going to try and finish it up, and it'll be a Lexathon. My stars of the game for the Raptors lost to the Orlando Magic last night. Sadly, the bench outscored us. The three-pointers outscored us. And the rebounding, it really hurt us. Jakob Poeltl, Ochai Agbaji, and Scotty Barnes, you get my 3 stars of the game. And the 905 routed the Austin Spurs, and I expect them to do it again tonight, 7:30. So check that out. Jared Rhoden, number 1 star for the 905 last night. Ulrich Shamshay, number 2. AJ Lawson, number 3. Eugenio Maroi and Tyler Perry getting the last star of the game. Referees for this game for the Austin Spurs at Raptors 905. Gina Catanzariti is the crew chief. Cameron Garber is the referee, and Castine Evans is the umpire for tonight's G League action. 7:30. You'll see me in the chat if you're coming in there and check it out. Let me see if there's any breaking news on Blue Skies from our Raptors people. Anything that's interesting of note that I want to talk about? No, it doesn't look like it. It's just stuff from last night. They didn't really add anything today. Happy birthday to Will Barton. You guys remember Will Barton? He was on our team, Will the Thrill. He was on our team a couple of years ago. Well, it's his birthday today. Happy 33rd birthday to Will Barton, a former Denver Nugget, and just a Raptor for a little while there a couple years ago. So happy birthday to Will Barton today. That's the birthday for the day. Y'all check out the Kensington Variety VIP Club show. There's a show from 5 years ago called Drive Safe that was posted in the Raptor Freak private Facebook group, and also on the Raptor Freak channel stream. You can watch them and see what I was talking about on a Saturday 5 years ago today on January the 4th, 2020, pre-pandemic. So congratulations to Slug Deezy on getting Anthony Davis, the classic card. Get your fantasy lineups set up. And thank you for bringing me Igor Demin, Stargate, and looking at the young Russian. Is a very talented passer. In some ways, I'm looking for size and rebounding and paint presence. So maybe not Igor for me specifically, for who I want on this Raptors team in the draft. But there you go. There's the Raptor Freak stream for today. I appreciate everybody. And Trevor's saying we still have a shot at the play-in. We can still catch a lot of teams. I think that you're right. I think that you're exactly right, but we'll just see how things naturally play out. If our team is just not having the aptitude and the ability to close games out to win, well, it won't happen, Trevor. And in some ways, that's what we have to figure out right now. That may be the biggest Achilles heels for the Raptors right now, is that not playing capable enough to close games out into victory and do it the right way. And until we do that, we're not going to win enough to do the play-in, to get in there. And, well, that path is fine too, because that means we're getting a high lottery pick. And that whatever destiny we got at the end of the year, we're not going to lose in the end. We're going to get it all figured out, even if our win-loss record is absolutely dreadful this year. Dreadful this year. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Thank you to the Raptor Freaks for sticking with me and sticking with this team through thick and thin. We're real ride or diers because we are riding through the stuff where they are really not doing well. And it's tough. It's tough to be a fan right now. As our friend Rich Porkins came in and asked me today, how can you be covering this dumpster fire for so long and just so steadily, Raptor Street? You're crazy. Maybe I am a little crazy, but that's why I'm fun. But no, I'm a real one. I'm loyal, and I love my team. And win or lose, I love them anyway. That's right. All right, let's go, Raptors. Please subscribe, join, whatever. If you're nice, I won't kick you out. And we gave Rich another chance. So, Rich, you can come back and join us another day. And your comments will get read. Just don't step in here and doo-doo like right away with some comments that are going to piss me off. Because in some ways, I do get pissed off. But that is part of the entertainment of the channel, too. All right, let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptors 905. Beat Austin Spurs and Malachi Flynn. Beat him some more tonight. And we'll all enjoy it and watch it together this time, since the Raptors game won't be on the same time. Yeah, and we'll get ready for the Milwaukee game on Monday. And I'll have a special report tomorrow about injuries in the NBA, the rash of injuries in the NBA, and what can be done about this. I'll do some research today and put some work into it. And we'll have a good presentation tomorrow at 9:30. Sunday special report, NBA injuries. What's going on? What's going on with that? Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Temple.